Hello everybody, and welcome to our webinar. Thank you for joining us today. We're really excited to have all of you here, and this has really been a record registration for us. Almost 300 of you have registered, and welcome Mercia here as well. We also have a lot of other universities joining us. And I really think that this is an indication of the fact that India is such a popular destination for us now. I think that a lot of students are rethinking their thoughts about studying abroad and considering India as the number one destination for themselves. And it's really exciting to have this array of options that we have in India across liberal arts and STEM streams for people to really study in India and access the jobs in India. So the big story really is you go to any website, whether it's a tech website, whether it's Meta, whether it's Walt Disney, a whole range of companies, and you look at jobs, and you'll always find a lot of jobs in India, right? So India is a big destination both to study and to work in, and I think that that's also why so many of you are here, and we are so excited to have you all over, and hope that we'll have a really, really great session where you can get your questions answered and really understand what you're looking for and how a university really suits you well. So before we start working with the universities, I'll quickly run you through I Know Me and what we do. So I'll start with a little film that we play every time when we have our guests over for a webinar, and here goes. It encapsulates what we stand for, our self-discovery way, and how I Know Me works with students. So that sort of brings together our philosophy, helping everybody find their path through a process of self discovery and helping students lead their journey and really be in the driver's seat when parents and counselors like us work with them to really find their dreams and to fulfill them. So, a little bit about who we are and what we do. Just give me one moment, please. So, as counselors, we really believe that we have a small role to play in a student's life, a small but a critical role, and one that really comes together when many factors work with each other. So, at the bottom, of course, is parents, a lot of you who are here, who work with your students to inspire them, to nurture them, and to make them people who can really have ambitions and try and make an impact on the world and really reach out for the highest options. And on top of that, school brings its expertise in with all the academic inputs that come in, all the inputs that come in through activities and sports and debates and everything that school does to help students find their roles, find themselves inside a team, take rigorous courses, and really prove themselves. And then there's our role as counselors who help you bring this all together to say, so which is the direction you're moving in, and really launch students into the orbit of their choosing, right? So that's how we see our role, the school's role, and the parents' role all working together to help the student do their best. Right. So here are a few of our programs. So one of our programs is called Head Start, which is a program that starts at the youngest level, which is at grade 8 to 9, where we work with students over a 2.5 hour session, helping them figure out 3 to 4 options that are really suited to them and which they can explore over the next 2 years so that they can really zero in on an option in grade 10. So Pathfinder is an option that is a program that we work with students in grade 10. It's a one-to-one, 3.5 hour long program where we help students understand 60 or 70 different career options, make a long list of about 15 careers, go through self-exploratory tools, bring it down to a short list, and then we work with the parents and the student to create a primary option, a backup option, and a long-term option. Then there's our program, which is called College Bound, where we work with students across multiple destinations in the US, Canada, EU, UK, and India, helping them both build a strong profile to represent what they can do and go through a whole process of making college lists, making a college timeline, putting together their applications, working on interview preparation, and finally submitting applications to get their best outputs out from them. So that's really a little bit about us, how we go about it really. So these are all the programs that we put together across grade 8 to grade 12, Head Start and Pathfinders for everyone. And then you have College Bound, which works grade 10 onwards, right? How we work is that for us, each student's ideas and what each student wants to do really matters. So sometimes people ask us, tell me, what would a kid do if they were applying for this? And the answer really is that we'll need to work with this child to figure out what their interest is. Do you want to look at sports analytics? Do you want to look at the environment? What really works for them? And create options and ideas which are not too strenuous and which are also exciting for the students so that they can lead themselves. We help students find their own Ivy Leagues. Ivy Leagues, or even Ashoka University, which is like an Ivy League in India, is not always the option that will work out for everybody. But there are perfect options out there for everyone. And I really feel that the student and the university kind of find each other over this process, and we help you guide the way there. We approachable, available. Once you start working with us, you'll see there's a team of two that will work with you, that will constantly be available over WhatsApp and email. We look upon our role as coaches rather than counselors, where you are in the driver's seat and we sort of helping you find your way. And we're looking at your journey beyond college admission. So for us, the end goal is not just that you get into a college, but what you're really going to do and what's the path, and that you really have a vision when you join college. So that's where we get our name, I Know Me, which is I Know Myself. We're an experienced team of counselors with domain expertise. We've placed students over multiple universities across the world, which students are very proud of. This is just a sampling. There are multiple universities, and our proudest stories are not always of the ones who go to the top universities, but also students who are struggling academically and who find the perfect university that will help nurture their talents forward. And this is our team of counselors. You'll be meeting Kritika and Eva today. They all have an area of expertise where they work with different students. And many of you would have connected with Poonam and Kamalika, who lead our outreach efforts and who would really help you understand what you're looking for and set up meetings and design a program for you that best suits you. All right, so that's a little bit about us, and we'll now start off on our journey of helping you see the leading universities in India, listen to them, understand what the whole journey is about, have your questions answered, and really build your plans and inspiration as you mean to. All right. So we would, uh, Poonam, can you put a schedule in the message, please? Or if someone can just put the schedule in the message so people know how things are going about. And so we'll start with the university that I feel everybody would be applying for, and that, of course, is Ashoka University. And we'll go on then to meet Krea University, and post which we have Flame University, and then Shiv Nadar University and Plaksha University. You'll have time both to listen to them and to ask your questions. I know many of you have sent us many questions already. Please feel free to keep writing any further questions that you may have in the chat so that we can respond to them. All right. So, Mercia, welcome back to our webinar. It's really, really wonderful to have you here. And I think every year students benefit so much from your warm and enthusiastic explanations and answers, and really getting a view of Ashoka, far from being this intimidating sort of palace that they all want to enter, to really being a university that's reaching out for different types of students and trying to make things happen for them. So, Mercia, welcome, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Richa. Hi, good evening, everybody. Actually, before I start, I want to apologize if you at some point start hearing some, major pounding happening in the back. There's some construction happening, so I just apologize in advance. I'm hoping they'll wrap up soon. But let me just begin by saying that, and I'm assuming most of you are probably students here. And also, Richa, I wanted to say something that I can hear the notification come in, right, as people are joining. Is it just mine, or can you also hear it?
No, I guess everybody can
Can
hear it.
hear it?
We
Okay.
haven't really, planned for such a large webinar. So
Okay, that's fine.
usually people just join in the beginning.
I thought maybe it was mine. Okay, so let me just start. I just want to keep this a bit, just a conversation. Okay, most of what Ashoka is like is a bit of a conversation. So I don't want to make it very stressful, but I want to take a little bit of time and just talk to you about what you can expect at Ashoka, what you can expect in the admissions process. Um, and overall, just to give you a little bit of a peek into the university, if you've not been there already, or if you don't know anybody studying there and you don't have too much information. Essentially, Ashoka was built upon, just the desire to allow students the opportunity to explore, the opportunity to get to know themselves, the opportunity to understand what they want to do in life, and then have a sort of way to get there. And that way really was the education that, your post-school education that you would receive. So that's kind of how the vision was, that you get to know yourself, you get to know what you want to do, and then you discover the path to accomplishing that, right? And so the liberal education model fits in well with us, but it's not, when we say liberal arts or sciences, sometimes people think humanities. We are humanities, we're social sciences, we're pure sciences. And you'll be happy to hear that we also now have a management program that we've just launched. So you could study anything in a liberal arts and in a liberal arts or a liberal education pedagogy and methodology. The aim was, what would happen is you would get to explore a range of different disciplines while you're getting to know yourself. And then you would decide what you want to pursue, and you would get sufficient depth in that discipline, alongside also exploring other aspects of interest, right? And always remembering and keeping at the back of your mind that you don't really learn anything in isolation. Often we think that if you, I get, in the Purana Zamana, or like our time, it was very simple. You kind of said, oh, I want to do this, you did that. And in a way, it seemed quite straightforward and you didn't really have to think too much, right? But unfortunately, what happened with that was you never really got to learn anything over and above or beyond that particular course that you picked. And you weren't really trained to deal with actual real life problems and situations, because you picked that one program, you did that one course, or you did a few courses in that same discipline, and then you came out, and if you found a job that suited that program and you were able to do well in it, you did well in it. Otherwise, for the rest of your life, you kind of just learned as you went along. So that's sort of what happened to me, right? Because I like a lot of things and I like learning a lot of things. But unfortunately, at university, I just had to pick one program. And I continued down that path for a couple of degrees till I realized I actually want to discover different things. And so the way to getting a liberal arts and science education that now you can receive in 4 years has taken me 20 years of just exploring on my own, alongside working, alongside doing everything that I do. So in a nutshell, the Ashoka program is a 4-year program. We follow the NEP guidelines, and it's a 4-year BA or BSc honors, depending on what you major in. And the program is designed in such a way that it will allow you to get to know yourself, get to know what you really want to learn, what areas of yourself you want to develop, what areas of an education you want to get, in an academic manner. And then it's a residential program, so you live together with, in a community, in a campus where you get to know others from different disciplines, students pursuing other things, having different interests, and yet forming bonds that are obviously going to be for a lifetime, right? And that's sort of the aim and the vision that we hope that our students would really, be able to experience. So let me walk you through the academic program a little bit. I'll share my screen if that's okay. Okay, sorry, let me go full screen. Yeah. I'm assuming you can see this, right?
Yeah, this is clear.
Okay.
Once you go full screen, and yeah, that's good.
Okay. So, like I said, it's a 4-year program, and it's a BA BSc honors. So how are we aiming? So this basically this slide that you see, right, is a nutshell of what you're going to experience academically at Ashoka, which will allow you to do all the things that I said, from the academic side, right? And I'm not talking about the residential program yet. I'll talk about that briefly. But from an academic lens, you are the same person who's going to be living there, having a very personal and social life, but also having an academic life. And so this slide really is all the things that you will be doing academically in order to go down that path, right? So at Ashoka, we have some courses that everybody does. It doesn't matter what background, what major you want to do, what background you come from, what you've studied, what you've not studied. It doesn't matter. You're all going to do 9 foundation courses. And these courses are really what will set the tone. They'll build the base for your learning. We've got some, and I'll show you the list in just a minute, but we've got some fantastic courses like Introduction to Critical Thinking, which is a real core of the Ashoka learning model, right? So you're going to be learning how to think and not just what to think. Very often in school, we're taught just what to think. We're given our textbooks, we're given our syllabus, our teachers are teaching us, our classes, and then we're expected to regurgitate all of that in exams, right? So you memorize and then you give exams. And some of you are great at memorizing. You may get very high scores. Some of us are not very good at memorizing, and that's scoring is always a big issue if you're getting tested for that, right? But what you're going to learn is not really the what, right? And given the access you have to technology, the access you've got to, and now with AI, right, you've got everything. You even like the scope of thinking is also really reduced. And so in a format that only requires you to know what to think, it's very easy. You can, there's not much learning actually, but in a methodology like this, where you're really forced to learn how to think, then you've got to start thinking critically. And that's one major foundation course. And so we've got 9 foundation courses across disciplines. Everybody does it, puts all our students, regardless of where you come from, sort of on the same base, right? And then from there, you go on to saying the major you want to choose, the co-curriculars you want to do, the internships you pick, they're all mandatory, but they're all different, right? You and your friend may come together to Ashoka, but you might be having 2 completely different academic journeys, right? And then, of course, there's an option to do a minor, there's an option to do a concentration in any discipline, or you could just take a bunch of electives, and I can talk a little bit about what all of these mean. But, and then, of course, there's an option to do research, like to do a proper research project with a professor in your major in the 4th year. And so you could, by the end of your journey at Ashoka, you'll see how you came in, and I usually say that the first semester is a little bit rough for everybody. You kind of learning how to grapple with this new life, first of all, it's a new life, right? You're away from home. You're, meeting a lot of people from across the country, from different countries as well. You're learning this new method of learning itself, where it's not like going to classes, taking down notes, writing, many courses don't have examinations as well. Or you're supposed to write papers. You'll learn everything about how to write a paper, how to be able to reflect, how to be able to do research. So that journey is going to start, and there will be a bit of a struggle, but it's just going to get better, right? And over the course of the 4 years, and if you do all of these, the requirements that are here on the slide, you'll see how you have grown as a person. So this is really what we're expecting your academic journey to look like. And so I'm not going to take too much time on this, but these are the 9 foundation courses that everybody's going to do. And they're just so fantastic. So for example, if you're somebody who's from the humanities background, you've not studied mathematics in grade 11 and 12, be prepared. You'll have to do a math course, right? But that's okay. It's not just doing hardcore math course. It's really about how to think mathematically, right? How to be able to do logical sort of reasoning. And it doesn't matter if you haven't studied mathematics. So that's the cool part about doing foundation courses. You may say that, I'm a very science sort of student. I don't really like to read books. I'm not somebody who wants to really write or do that kind of research. Well, too bad. You've got to do it. But having said that, you're going to love it because it's going to be new, and it's going to be things that allow you to really develop parts of yourself that you haven't maybe had the opportunity to do, right? So foundation courses, and you can look at this list. I'm not going to go into it. And then, like I said, you've got your majors, right? At Ashoka, we've got 2 kinds of majors. We've got the pure majors and the interdisciplinary major. So the pure majors are subject, like they're all from one department each. As you can see the list here, and you can see right at the bottom, we've added management. I must say that there are mathematics requirements for all those that have got the stars on it. So please have a look. All of this is on the website as well. But particularly for management, you need to have had mathematics in grade 11 and 12 because it's a BSc program. It's a BSc honors. And so it's not... It's going to be quite quantitative in its own way, but it's a fantastic program. My team and I were discussing it yesterday in detail, and some of them were saying, "Oh, is it possible for us to apply, and do this program?" Because it just seems, so fantastic in a way that, of course, you will do the foundation courses as well, just like every other discipline. And then there are things that are very specifically created for the management program, as it has been for all the other programs. In fact, I think a year and a half ago, we added the international relations major. So now we've added management. Many of the others we've had over the last decade. So, and if you come to this side of the screen, on the other side, you'll see the interdisciplinary majors. We haven't added any new ones this year as yet, but we did add economics and public policy last year, which was, which is a program that, a major that a lot of students have really shown interest in. And then there are some really interesting ones, like you can see philosophy and computer science, right? And you may wonder that how does philosophy and computer science go together? But there's a very deep connection. I think basically what we're trying to say is that it doesn't really matter what you major in. All disciplines are very closely connected. You can pick any discipline and think about other disciplines and see that they've all got a very close link to each other, right? And like I said, you don't learn anything in isolation. So the interdisciplinary majors are pre-designed majors by these departments. But if you don't want to do those, you can do just a pure major and then have the opportunity to do a minor in anything that you want to do, right? So this is a list of minors, and we added a very interesting minor this year. It's a minor in digital health. So you could do a major in literature and do a minor in digital health, right? So you could just decide what you want to do. There are so many combinations, so many things. You could do a major in mathematics and do a minor in performing arts, right? So there's no one's going to restrict you and say, oh, this is the field you're going to do. You can't do something that doesn't sound appropriate to go with this major, right? So it just all depends on how you're exploring yourself, how you're getting to know yourself. Here are a list of the co-curricular courses that are currently being offered. They're basically courses that look like extracurricular courses, but they're taught in an academic manner. So you've got to do some of these as well, and they're very interestingly taught. I know students who've learned, have done like 4 courses in Mandarin, and who are quite fluent now and have really kind of started. So I mean, it's just a range of different things, and they're somebody who does not even say come from a background where English has been very comfortable for them, right? Here they are learning other languages which have absolutely no correlation to their. They've had no exposure to it in life in the past. So really, the sky really is the limit, right? For you to explore yourself, and of course explore what you want to learn, how you want to grow. Just a note that you could do all pure majors can also be a minor. So you could be doing a major in physics and you could do a minor in economics. And that's possible as well, right? So just to say that there's just a wide range of options that you can consider.
Absolutely. And I think many of the questions people have asked have been about, do you have this minor? Do you have that minor? We'll come to that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's here, you can take photographs as well. So, but just to give you a flavor of, I'm obviously not getting into any of these in detail, right? But the point is that there's so much to learn. Like we had added astronomy as a minor a year and a half ago, I think, or 2 years ago. Our vice chancellor is an astrophysicist, and it's just a minor that so many students are doing who are not doing anything related to any of the science disciplines as well, right? So because you can, I think that's the answer. It's because you can, and if you like it, why not, right?
Absolutely. I had one of my students who had not taken maths in 11th and 12th and was studying psychology, who decided to do a computer science minor.
No,
So that
absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, I think even the math requirements, the way we've made it for most of the disciplines is that if you really want to do it, we'll help you find a way to do it, right? You'll have to work a little extra hard. You'll have to do a bit more, catch up, but pretty much everything is possible. So let me just quickly go on. The reason I'm showing this slide is what I wanted to really say was that you don't just learn within your classroom at Ashoka. There are opportunities for you to do a summer or a semester abroad or more. With a 4-year program, you can do more. You can do maybe 2 semesters abroad. And these are we've got 50 plus partnerships, so MOUs. There's a good give and take between these universities. You could also go to universities we don't have a partnership with. So this list obviously is not comprehensive, but it's just to showcase some of the universities. A lot of our students go for the summers. 500-600 students in a summer. They're just going to experience that. And whatever courses they do there, we make sure those credits can be transferred into their program at Ashoka. And semester abroad are really good. I mean, if you were considering going to study in, like, say, a university in the US, right? And then for whatever reason you came to Ashoka, you could still go and do a semester in the US, and maybe if you want to do another semester in the UK as well, or in Singapore or wherever, right? So there are so many options for you to live and study in India, close to home, and yet experience, what the world has to offer in terms of higher ed in different universities. So a lot of our students are going and experiencing this, and it's been really nice to hear from them. So those options exist. So broadly, that's your academic life. I haven't gotten into the details about what your classes are like. Let me just say one sentence that in your academic experiences, you can't be sitting in class and not participating, okay? You read before you come to class, you raise your hand, you speak, you participate. Every class has got a certain percentage for class participation. And I know that if you're introverted and you feel that, oh, it's very hard for me to speak, I don't think it really matters. at that point. Once you start engaging in your class, you will want to participate, right? So don't worry, don't fear, because it's not about necessarily about getting high grades. I mean, I hope all of you get high grades, but it's really about participating and learning together. So you do projects and you do papers and you do presentations and you do all of that. But that's kind of how the academic um, uh, learning happens. So yeah, is that sort of okay? I'll just quickly move forward, and I want to be mindful of the time as well here. But I won't spend too much time on campus life, but I do want to say that it's a fully residential program. So you do get the 24/7 sort of campus experience. And particularly if you haven't been in boarding school and have not lived away from home, again, first semester might be a little bit like difficult. You're too comfortable in your own homes, but soon Ashoka, from what I know from all our students, it becomes a home for them, away from home. And or it becomes another home for them. And so just a few things very quickly. There are 60 plus clubs and societies. Here are a few of them. You can, we encourage our students to participate in at least one or two of the clubs and societies. All clubs and societies are started by students. And so if there's a club or society that doesn't exist and you want to start one, you can start one. So there are some guidelines for that. Ashoka is quite vibrant in that sense. There's a lot happening within the community, and students are doing all kinds of things, even outside of Ashoka, together, right? So serving the ecosystem outside as well. So that's been really fantastic. For those of you who are into sports, of course, there's the whole, sporting experience. And so these are just, again, a few of the things that you can see that are offered. So there's a whole sports life at Ashoka that students participate in. So while, yes, studies are kind of rigorous and studies are important, but there's also the other part of developing yourself, right? So a lot of the extracurriculars, a lot of your interests, of course, and there are other things, right? Not just sports, extracurriculars. Maybe you're somebody who who's just a reader or a writer and you want to do that. Or, we've got this fantastic 24/7 open library as well. And I'll just let you look at the pictures. There's just it's a place where I see students are there around the clock, right? And just a big part of learning is also spending that time, reading, writing, thinking, exploring. So over a period of 4 years, there's just a lot that one can do. And I'm just giving you snippets of that. But this is your university life and this is your campus life. And to just wrap up this part, just to let you know that we know that our students come from just all kinds of places, all backgrounds, and you might need some sort of support, right? Whether it's physical health related support, whether it's a learning disability, whether it's a mental health concern, whether it's some sort of, maybe social anxiety, settling in, or maybe it's academic reading and writing. Like regardless of what sort of support you require, if you make it to Ashoka, we do offer support in various ways. There are plenty of student groups, administrative support systems, offices, centers that are equipped, that are also there to support you. I think as I wrap this section up, I just want to say one thing that for me personally, when I look at the Ashoka students, I feel like they thrive best when they ask for help. If they need help and they ask for help, they thrive best because all of us need help, right? And so I usually tell students, if you need help and you ask for help, there's somebody there who's going to help you for sure. And so I think it's overall, this is sort of what the campus experience will be. And I want to tie it up by saying all of this is designed for you to not just get a degree, right? But to actually learn, to discover yourself and to learn, to explore both academically and non-academically the areas that you are passionate about. So that eventually, yes, you'll get placements and eventually you will maybe go for higher ed to other universities, completely expand your role maybe do entrepreneurship, do a range of different things that you want to do. But we're hoping that these 4 years will really set the base, strengthen you in it so that you can move forward, in a successful manner. Richa, if I have like 5, 7 minutes more, I'll run through the admissions process. Is that okay? Okay. So I'll try and keep it quick. I think the reason I usually talk about what happens on campus is because our admissions process is tied in very closely with campus life, both academic and non-academic. So our admissions process is also a holistic process because we are trying to now find students who we think will do really well at that sort of a campus, right? Because we know Ashoka's expectations of its students. We know its expectations of how they want you to engage in the classroom, outside the classroom, in your residence hall. So we're also looking for students who we think will really do well there. So we're not just looking, we don't have the cutoff system where we say, okay, you need to have this score in your grade 12, you need to have this SAT score. We're not necessarily looking at it that way. We're obviously want to get students who are, who work hard, who are bright, who are, curious, who want to learn. And yes, to some extent we do, of course, we look at your marks or we look at what you've done, but we don't just give importance to one thing over the other. So our entire process is sort of designed around that. And the way we're assessing that, and you probably know, and I'll show you the calendar in just a minute, but we have one admission cycle. We started in October and we'll end next year by the end of August when we hand over the students. We have 4 submission deadlines, so 4 rounds, and it's a repetitive process, right? So you fill in an application form. If you haven't already, and if you are in grade 12 now, or you've taken a gap year and you want to apply, the forms are open. So you submit a mandatory application form, and then once you've done that, depending on which round you submit, you have mandatory Ashoka assessments. So there's an on-the-spot essay and an aptitude assessment that you've got to take. We evaluate your assessments and your application form. So both are very important. So a very thorough application form, your performance in the assessments, and then we shortlist candidates for the interview. Then, of course, there is a mandatory interview with the panel. It's it can be a single member or 2-member panel, and then we have we do a holistic evaluation of the candidate, and then the admissions committee declares decisions, right? What we've added this year is we've also added some merit scholarships for students who do well in our admissions process. Overall, we want to offer some scholarships and recognize that while you get your offer, and for everybody else, we, including the students who get the merit scholarships, they're allowed to apply for need-based scholarships that you would require, that you may need, and you feel that, hey, I've got admission, but I would like to apply for scholarships to support my educational journey. So you can apply, and then of course you accept your offer or you decline. I must also say that at every stage, students might fall off. Like you may have submitted an application form and done your assessments, but you're not shortlisted for the interview round. For everyone who's shortlisted for the interview round, of course, there will be some who will not be made an offer of admission. But and for those who are getting decisions, apart from the offer, you also, sometimes, so I'll just show you very quickly about the different kinds of decisions that we have as well. But the process overall is quite, in a way, that's straightforward. But if you look at the application form, you'll realize that we really want to get to know you. There's like a number of things that we want to know about you. And just so before I get to that, very quickly, there are 4 submission deadlines. So 26 November, 25 and 21st January and 26, and then 22nd April and 31st May. So these are the 4 submission deadlines. Typically, I would say round 1 and round 2 are good options. So that, you can submit and then you can move forward. Actually, if you look at this, it's got all the other deadlines and dates as well. So you'll know that if you submit your application on 26 November, then 7th December is your assessment date, right? And basically by 28th January, you'll get your decision. and then you can accept or not by the 18th of Feb. So in a sense, there's it's all very quick. So you may be somebody who's in a giving your board exams this early next year, but you might have your offer of admission before that. So you don't have to worry about your offer or your admission into university, and you can just focus on your exams, right? So that's kind of how we've designed it. We know that some students are comfortable applying early, some are not, some want to apply after their exam, some want to apply after their results. So we've sort of tried to cover all of you in this. Okay, just a quick look. This is what's there in the application form. I'm not going to go into it. But as you can see, when I said it's a comprehensive form, we do holistic admissions. This is really what we're looking at, right? And every section is important. So it's not like the academic section is more important than the personal and family details, right? Like we want to know as much about you as possible. So these are the different sections, and if you look at the form, you'll realize that yes, we do want to know what you read, right? It's important to us. Yeah, this time we have one essay. We, with the coming of ChatGPT, I've realized a lot of things that you can give any prompt and you can get an answer in 30 seconds. So I've realized that we don't want to give you an essay prompt just to get a random, AI-generated essay. What we really want actually is to get to know you. So our process is designed that way. Our assessments this time, I'll talk about the assessments briefly, are all center-based. So you'll have to go to a venue. It's no longer online. You will have to go to a venue we've made some exceptions for students with mobility issues, but otherwise, they are center-based. So that's something you got to plan ahead a little bit. Again, you'll find that on your form. You get to pick your center. This is really the assessment. So center-based, you pick your center in the application form, as in you pick the city. We'll send you the details. But there are two parts to the assessments. There's the on-the-spot essay and the aptitude assessment. You can read up on this. I don't want to get too much into details here. But the on-the-spot essay is 30 minutes. The aptitude assessment is 90 minutes, unless you have a learning disability or something where that requires you to have additional time, which we will, do separately. But what I want to say, the essence of this, both of these, is that we really, again, want to know how you think, right? Are you able to think? Are you able to engage? Are you able to articulate what's on your... we don't want your grammar to be fantastic. We don't want all these fancy words. We really want to know, are you able to look at all these questions that are there in front of you? Are you able to understand them, apply your mind, and be able to respond to the answers in the aptitude assessment or the on-the-spot essay, right? So this is, they're all on computer-based. So you're not really writing with paper or pen, but they will be in physical centers across India. Okay?
Right.
Um,
Lots and lots of questions for you. I'm warning you before.
I know. I'm just going to quickly run through this, I'm hoping. So again, if you're shortlisted for the interview, there's a process. You'll get a lot of communication from my team. But the interview, again, is really the final sort of chance for us to meet you, right? We meet every student that comes into Ashoka. So we want to meet. We haven't yet given admission to anybody without meeting them. So we want to meet, we want to get to know. Sometimes we meet you even twice. So if you do get a re-interview, don't be surprised. So it'll be with a different panel. But the aim is really to try and understand you. So it's personal, but it's also academic, right? We do talk about academics. We do talk about your non-academic interests as well. But we do talk about you. So it is a personal conversation. It's for us to get to know you. Please remember that Ashoka is a fully residential program as well. So we do want to know that you not only suit Ashoka's academic program, but you also suit, you'll also be able to do well and thrive in a residential program. So our interviews are designed around that. Yeah. Okay. I think I should stop here. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I think I have one more slide after this. But essentially this is that depending on your context, right? um, holistic assessment can only be done if we look at your context individually. You might be a set of twins applying, same home, maybe even did the same course in school, maybe even want to do the same major at Ashoka, but you'll be two different people, right? And we want to get to know you for who you are, regardless of, and whatever your challenges may be, we want to support that, right? We have, and finally, like I said, there's a list of decisions you can get. Sometimes we do put you on a wait list. Sometimes we give you a conditional offer. Sometimes we also defer your decision till we get your final scores in class 12. And all of these are for us to get a better view, right? If we feel like we've got everything we want from you, you can get an offer of admission directly, or sometimes you may not get an offer of admission. But there are times when we do wait because we want to hear a little bit more or get some other information, or sometimes it's just availability of seats, right? We are a residential program, so we don't have endless seats as well. We also need beds. So that's sort of and like I talked about the merit and needs-based scholarships. We are very generous. Ashoka has been very generous over the years in giving aid and to students who, you get an offer, and if you need a certain amount, whatever it is that you need, Ashoka does cover for that, but you got to apply for it. Or as this time, we are also offering some merit scholarships. So I think I'm done. So yeah, so this is just, I know I tried to, I'm not sure if I overshot my time, but I've tried to sort of
Don't
do a
worry
quick.
about that, Mercia. I think people have so many questions on Ashoka that it may not be possible to answer each one of them, but I'll try and quickly run you through some of them. So there are questions
Sure.
about minors. For example, there's a question that do you have a sports psychology minor, which I believe sports psychology is part of the psychology minor, but not offered separately. Sorry, I'm just answering where I can.
Yeah.
There's
We don't have a sports psychology minor, but you can do psychology as a minor, and sometimes under that there are different courses that would come. So maybe there is a sports psychology, but it's not a minor or it's not a major, because I know some people want to do that in particular. But imagine if you can do psychology and learn how to do that, you can do sports psychology. And I don't think that should be a problem.
There's a question that can we combine an interdisciplinary major with an additional minor?
I think you can. I think you can just about squeeze it in. But what you can't do anymore, and I should have said it, but I'll just say it now, is we don't have the option for a double major.
Right.
That doesn't exist anymore with the new admission, with the new NEP, the education policy, because the number of courses towards your majors have really gone up, the number of courses and credits. So there's no space to allow you to do two majors, as opposed to previously we did have that option.
All right. So you'll have to do a major and maybe two minors would be possible?
But no, you can do a major, you can do a major and a minor, or an interdisciplinary major and a minor, pretty much. If you have a pure major, you could possibly do a minor and maybe a concentration. But I would just say make the most of the space, that whatever space you have, and do a bunch of electives, across different sort of disciplines.
Right. There are some questions regarding computer science. So one is that, if a student has clarity that they want to pursue computer science, how should they compare Ashoka to engineering programs like Plaksha or Shiv Nadar?
To be honest, can I just say, apart from the hardware part of it, we have our computer science is as cutting edge as theirs. I know sufficient people in all these universities as well, and we are never going to offer a BTech, right? We are a BSc in computer science. We're not going to give you a BTech degree, but the program in itself is very cutting edge. So there's nothing that our program is not offering, which their programs are offering. And in fact, there's, for example, Plaksha and Ashoka are very closely also tied in together, right? We're in a way like family, extended family, I would say.
Universities, I think.
Yeah. And so, if you want the tech degree, if that's what you want, I would say you should go to a place like Plaksha. But if you are looking at, the various other things that Ashoka offers, right, as well, along with the BSc in computer science, I wouldn't say there's a big difference.
Right. And I do want to say the BSc Management is an amazing program that you've added this year, and people have been looking to study management at Ashoka. That's wonderful. And there's a question on the sports quota that does Ashoka offer sports credit or for the sports quota?
No, we don't offer sports quota. We want, I'm sorry, I think you can hear them now beating up the background, but we don't offer a sports quota. And I'll tell you why. In fact, we don't offer any quotas, right? Because we really want you to be able to do well at Ashoka. If you were great, fantastic at sports, but you also felt that you'd be okay academically and residentially, we'll take you. We're not, your sports is going to help you, obviously. But if sports is the only thing that you do, then Ashoka may not be the best place for you because you might not be able to, um,
Right.
do justice to the academics.
Right. So a related question, and look upon it as sort of being in a Karan Johar hot seat now because there's so many questions. I'll just fire them at you, right? So there's this one: how good is cricket coaching in Ashoka?
And I do know that our students, I think we've got coaches for all sports. This I can tell you. And our students go and they play, they do inter-university competitions and they're traveling around the country. They are getting medals. So I do see them coming in, every time there's some medals. I love to watch cricket, but I don't think I've ever been coached. So it's really hard for me to say how good the coaching is. But I think they're getting medals. It's probably that they're good and they're getting those medals. Richa, I must add that I'm also doing a session for Ashoka on the 12th of November. I'm hoping, it's a little longer, so I'm going to use a lot of my slides that I used today and a little bit more, and then be a little bit more detailed. So if I'm not able to answer something here, we'll also be doing a Q&A there. So if students want to join, I'm happy to be doing some of those as well.
Right, Mercia. So there's this question about what percentage of students avail of the semester abroad program.
I can tell you some numbers. I'm not sure. I don't know what it converts in percentage because it just depends, right? Every semester, in your first semester, you can't go to, you can't go in your first and your last semester, okay? You can go every summer in between, or you can go for at least, I think, a couple of semesters. Like last year, like I was saying, there were around 600 students in one semester that were, in the summer, that were away for summer abroad. Right? And there were at least, I think if I remember correctly, there were 85 students who had gone for one semester. There are many options. It's up to you. There's no, it also depends on what you're applying for. If you get, to do those courses, if the other university also accepts you, right? We have a bare minimum from Ashoka that you need to maintain your CGPA for you to be able to apply. But the criteria is mostly from the other universities. But it's a good number of students. We have an entire office set up that helps students do this.
Right.
So,
Mercia, a question on mental health support, that what mental health support does the university offer?
yeah. So we actually have India's first, and I'm not sure if other universities are doing it still, but we've had a center for well-being. So we offer counseling. We also have psychiatrists coming to campus now. If you need to meet with someone, or they'll recommend you to a doctor outside. You have a student care office at Ashoka. So, of course, we don't do, we have counselors, right? So they're not going to offer you psychiatric support or clinical or any sort of medication, but the psychiatrist who comes does test you and can prescribe. So we've also got all kinds of other doctors coming in as well. We've got an infirmary, a 24/7, of course, infirmary, a 24/7 ambulances. We've got a couple of them. We've got tie-ups with hospitals in Delhi as well as around university. So depending on the severity of any illness you might have. So so that's a fully functioning, well-oiled sort of mechanism that's ongoing.
I'll ask two more questions. I think there are many, many questions. If you could, Mercia, spend some time or have someone from your team join the Zoom and answer some of the questions that we've been trying to answer from where we understand. There's one question on economics, that does a student need math in grade 11 and 12 to major in economics? I've said yes. I just thought I'll ask you again.
Okay, the answer is not necessarily yes. So, of course, you will you will need the mathematics in 11th and 12th for you to be able to pass the mathematics courses in your economics, right? Economics, you need to understand in universities, econometrics. It's heavily quantitative. It's not really what you studied in grade 11 and 12 in school. In school, the only bit of mathematics sort of that you did was statistics, but here it's not that. You really have to do calculus and other things. So if you don't have math in 11th and 12th because you're scared of math, it is going to be a challenge. However, what we have done is we've made a provision for those of you, for whatever reason you didn't have mathematics, but you're really, sort of hell bent on doing economics. You have to do you have to take a calculus test when you come in, and it's you can actually look at the website as well. We've put some stuff up there. If you clear the test, then you do a calculus course. And in that course, if you get an A minus, the econ department allows you to take economics if you do not have mathematics in 11th and 12th. I must say, though, the easier route is to do mathematics in 11th and 12th because what they're expecting of you is very high. Even students who've done mathematics in 11th and 12th do struggle with economics related math in university. And it's not just Ashoka. It's,
I remember struggling in JNU, so I can.
yeah, it's everywhere. It's just that the gap between what you study in school and what is expected at university has never been bridged. And there's no one bridging it. So you've just got to really go out and work additionally hard. So if you don't have math and if you're really scared about math, it is going to be a challenge. But there are other disciplines you can consider, that you may want to explore. I think now the management might be, but again, management is in management, you mandatorily need mathematics, right? So maybe you do want to explore something that's maybe different, if that is a challenge.
So there's a question now. The last question I'll ask you is about international syllabus. It's saying that do students from IB or Cambridge have an advantage over students from CBSC, ICSC, and other national boards?
I think the IB students have a little bit of exposure to, research and in let me just say that the board that's closest to having at least some exposure to writing and research and thinking, because of your TOK, because of your extended essay, and just the other aspects of your course. But, to be honest, in the first semester, I feel everybody struggles. And it doesn't matter if you're CBC or ISC or state boards. By the time you come to the second semester, you've familiarized yourself with the learning style. So I mean, maybe there is some advantage in the beginning, in the admissions, like you were able to understand some things a little bit better. But then again, I've seen it both ways as well. I've seen students with IB programs who've done an IB or a Cambridge program as well, who equally struggle as well. So I wouldn't want to say that program, and there are students from other boards who are really thriving as well from the beginning, just because of their learning sort of style, their learning desire, and how they've sort of over the years built that up. So I wouldn't want to pit it this way or that way, really.
Right, absolutely. I think that that's about the number of questions we'll be able to take, Mercia, right?
Absolutely.
There are so many parents with many questions. What we'll do, Mercia, if it's all right, is collate some of these questions and send them across to you. If we can,
Sure,
from your office, share some answers with us, which we can share back
sure,
with.
sure. Yeah. I think I'll just encourage you, if you look at the Ashoka, I don't know, Instagram or whatever website, there is a session that I'm doing on the 12th. It's a longer session, like it's 2 hours. Maybe there are some questions that get answered there. Plus, if you can send me questions as well, and I have someone from the university, from my team, send you back some answers. All right? Yeah.
Wonderful, Mercia.
I
Thank you.
can
So
hello.
sorry to rush you. I think it's just this way that Ashoka is everybody's choice, right?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Mercia. Thanks for being there.
Yeah, can I have one question, please? Yeah. Actually, yeah, I just joined late. My daughter, she's doing her Cambridge in AS level. So their school is giving the option of, having the final exams in a split mode. Like in February, March, she can go for either of 2, 3 exams, and then June she can opt for the balance 2 or 3 subjects. So is that split type of subjects results are being accepted by Ashoka, Flame, and all these
Yes.
universities?
At least Ashoka, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. All the best.
Take care. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being patient there. I know there are so many questions that you have, and I'm sorry we haven't been able to answer them properly this time. I think that, this time also because we have so many participants, we haven't been able to really make time for many questions, but we will collate them and send them to Ashoka, and you can join the November 12th webinar as well and get some more answers. We now have another very exciting university that many students are looking at, which has been offering a whole range of options with computer science and business and the sciences and all the liberal arts for students to explore. And they have a very, very interesting format also, interwoven learning. And we have Arpit Solanki from Krea, who's joining us here, and Kritika, who's our lead counselor, who will be also joining us in discussing this with you. So, Arpit, thank you firstly for making the time and for being here. I know people are very excited about asking questions to Kriya. You could see how the deluge of questions came, and we already have some questions for you. But first, welcome, and do tell us a little bit about the whole university experience and admission experience that you'd like to share.
Thanks, Richa, and thanks all of you to join us. Uh, so I'll be briefly talking about Kriya, and I'll go through a presentation. Uh, First, let's go through that, because I want to keep it in time, and I don't want to go beyond the time, and we'll be giving more time onto the Q&As, because I think the parents will have more questions. So if you allow, Richa, should I share my screen?
Yes, please.
I hope it's visible.
It says it's just starting. Yeah, now it's visible. Absolutely.
Okay. So let me talk about Kriya's inception first, because the major thing which we come across is, okay, Kriya was started in 2019. It's a very young university in terms of liberal arts. So how I say it, that yeah, 2019 we started as a university, but if you talk about our inception, the Kriya's inception actually starts from Institute of Financial Management and Research, IFMR, in 1970. So it's a more than 50 years old organization. In 1970, started as an IFMR, as Research Society for Finance. Later on, new business school was started by IFMR, and then in 2019, the same business school sponsored a university we know as Krea University, where two schools were introduced. The one was which we call it as Liberal Arts Programs School, which is a School of Interwoven Arts and Sciences. And then the other school is of Graduate Business School, which is long-standing from 1970 and has already, I think there are 24 or 25 batches passed out of our management programs. Apart from that, Krea have a doctoral college, and then we have multiple research centers at the university. Uh, these are the prominent names associated with Krea, and our current chancellor is Mr. Lakshmi Narayanan, who is Cognizant co-founder, and the others you can see as our board members and the governing council, like Raghuram Rajan, Raghu Sundaram, and others. So let's come to most important part, is what kind of majors and minors we offer at Krea. So as of now, it's 15 majors we are offering at Krea, and even by next week we are adding one more major, so it will be 16 major options at Krea. Now, when we say 18 minors, so actually this is including those 15 majors. So any major can also be taken as a minor. And there are three new minors which are only and only minors, cannot be taken as a major. So here it is the list of the majors. So for an example, I'm going ahead with biological sciences as my major option. So any other option out of this list. So with biological sciences, I can also take psychology as my minor. So it can also be taken as a major, or it can also be taken as a minor. So that's how the permutation and combination will work of the majors and minors. You also have an option of having double majors. So if you want to club chemistry with psychology or even chemistry with literature kind of combination, that is also possible. So you can have double majors. In that double majors, you have to earn equal number of credits of both the majors, and you later on in your career path you can decide whichever way you want to go. So let me give you a small idea of what kind of credits you have to earn. So if you need to earn a major in 4 years, we are taking an example of 4 years. So for single major, 80 credits of that major is required. And then from minor, you have to gain 32 credits. So in total, 160 credits are required for a 4 years honors degree. Out of that, 80 comes from your major, 32 comes from your minor, 36 comes from your first year, and others you can gain from your options of electives or other cross disciplinary electives and all. If you want to go for double major, in that case, you will not have any option of minor. Then you will go for two majors with 64 credits each. So if I want to do economics plus mathematics as a double major, so 64 credits of economics and 64 credits of mathematics will be required. Now, how this major and minor selection goes. So this is a timeline of your 4 years. Here you will also notice in every year there are three blocks of three different colors, the shading of blue. Why this three is because Krea is the only university in India running in trimester model. So as the other universities you will encounter, all are them, they are offering their courses in the semester models, but Krea is in trimester model. So every 3 months we have a term ending. So if you see the year one, in which we offer some skill and core courses, so we can say it is in a foundation year where the courses are fixed, decided by the university that you have to go through all these courses. And in those lists, even the situation is like a student coming from the arts or humanities background will go through some courses like scientific reasoning or mathematical reasoning. Even a student coming from mathematics background or science and mathematics background will go through the courses like creative writing, because these are some basic courses where we think that a student should go for at least in year one. These are those courses to cover up next 3 years of their majors. So you must read data analytics, you must know creative expressions, must know ethics if you're going to psychology or economics or even physics or bio. Ethics is also which is required, and we also teach the ethics in the year one, and even in their research methodologies and all kind of subjects in the subsequent years, there are subjects related to ethics. Now, year two is the place where you select your major and minor options. So at the start of year two, you have to declare that you will be going ahead with a major out of this list. Now, for an example, I have selected computer science as my major. I have declared it that, okay, this will be my major, and I also declare that mathematics will be my minor. I spend a term. So the block, the first term, let's say this is the block of the first term of the year two. I spend this and suddenly start feeling that no, economics was not my choice. I took it as a major, but I think that I will not be able to do it. In that case, you still have option to change your major at least till these two blocks. It means by the end of the year two. Although we will suggest, or even the academics will suggest, that you should change, if you want to change, you should change this as a major in the first two trimesters of year two, because after that it becomes very difficult for you to gain those many credits which are required to earn a major. And whatever major you have earned in this the fourth trimester, this is first of year two, those credits will go as with you as an electives, and you can change your major and minor options. You also do not need to declare that you will be going for a double major. So I have started as a computer science major with mathematics as a minor, and I reach at this place, the start of year 3, and I feel that, okay, I'm liking mathematics and I have that kind of bandwidth, that time I can decide that I want to go for double major or not. Otherwise, it's not a mandate that from the very first day you have to declare your majors or double major or a major minor combination. No, you have that kind of flexibility where you can decide, you can make changes during your study. Okay, I have to remove this first. So these are the foundational courses, core and skill courses, which are being taught in the year 1.
Right.
Now, Richa, as you mentioned the concept of interwoven learning at Krea. So what do we mean by interwoven learning is we have heard a lot about the interdisciplinarity. Interdisciplinarity is a part of interwoven, and when we say interwoven, there are multiple meanings of it. So one, we think it as a 8 principle pedagogy, where every subject is being taught from a writing perspective. There is research involved. Then in that subject there are interdisciplinary elements. As I mentioned, ethics we teach in every subject. You will go to read history of every subject. Let's say even if you're going for a major of physics or chemistry, but we have to go even in the history of physics and history of chemistry, what happened there and how those inventions were made. Similarly, data analytics is one part which is important in every subject today. So data analytics is also included. And that's how these all principles are taken together for the interwoven learning. How this happens is it's not only you go for a classroom study, but also you get involved in project-based learnings where a group of students from multiple majors, so one from economics, another from philosophy, another from psychology, another from politics, may get a project to work upon so that they can share their ideas, they can learn from multiple aspects, and they learn from each other as well. And that's how a politics person will be working with a philosophy person, and then both of them are sharing ideas, and they are also, and that's how it's called interview, and that they are merged with each other, and I'm also going through something which is not even my major. Going towards some placement statistics of Krea. So we have seen a different shift this year. So until last year, the situation was that around 20 to 25% students were opting for the placements, and most of them were going for higher education abroad. But this year, our 40% student have selected for the placements, and all of them were placed. And the students going abroad for a higher education was gone down, and this is obvious, considering the situations in the global markets. Apart from that, in terms of the international partnerships, we have recently signed up one with John Hopkins as well. We have with Sansespo, we have with Northeastern University in Boston, but we have our own philosophy there. The point is that we don't want to stretch our list of partnerships and force our students to go to any partner university, because the challenge is that for the international university, our Indian students are also a source of revenue. So if you go for a 2 months program, or even a 3 month or 6 months program, the investments are very high. That's why what we prefer that our students, if they are going through any kind of international exchange program or any short-term program international, we try to sign up with those university who treat us as equal and do not charge tuition fee from our students to study some kind of short-term programs at their universities. And even we plan to continue like this. However, if you want to go to any other university across a world which is not even in our partnership, and you apply there, the university will help you in every aspect. If you want to go for even short-term program, or if you are trying to apply there for your higher education, obviously the team of the professors and the Office of Career Services will help you to make your applications for higher education at those institutions. Apart from the liberal arts programs at Krea, we also came up with a program of integrated MBA, a BBA plus MBA program last year. Sorry, last to last year. So this will be the third batch joining in, where you have an exit option of a BBA in 3 years, or a BBA honors in 4 years, or an integrated BBA plus MBA in 5 years, where you can go for four concentrations in business management, entrepreneurship, business journalism, or family business. Talking about Kriya's location, because this is also has been a confusion among students and parents. Um, so Kriya is not in Chennai. Many people think that Kriya is in Chennai. It's not, but yeah, we are just around 70 kilometers from Chennai, and we are in Andhra Pradesh, not in Tamil Nadu. So it's on border of Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. It's a place called Sri City in Andhra. It's a special economic zone where Kriya's campus is situated, and currently we are a 40-acre built-up campus, and we have acquired another 100 acres land around the campus to extend our campus. You can also take an idea of the location from this fact that we are approx 20-25 minutes away from ISRO's station at Sriharikota. So if you drive down from Chennai towards Sriharikota, the first you pass through Kriya's campus. So it will take around 1.5 hours drive from Chennai airport to Kriya campus. At campus, you will find all kind of sports facilities and coaches and clubs and societies. Yeah, except swimming pool. So we are working on the swimming pool because we have received a lot of queries of parents and students about it. But as I have mentioned, apart from the swimming pool, we have all kind of sports facilities at campus, and all residential halls are twin sharing. The rooms are twin sharing with attached lead bath and a split AC in all the rooms. Uh, in campus, we support the student if there are some kind of special needs. There is a cell which works on psychological well-being of the students. Students can approach that wing also if required, and if they need any kind of assistance. Apart from that, we have a health center in the campus, which is 24/7 operating with the resident doctors. Uh, the food is we serve vegetarian and non-vegetarian food both at campus, and there are multiple cafes at the campus. So that's all about the campus which I wanted to talk about, and I'll be happy to take the questions now.
Um,
And once I've gone, sorry, yes.
Sorry. So I quickly wanted to ask you that can you explain to us the admission cycle this time, because it's different
Sure.
from last
So
year?
I was planning to take it through after the questions because I knew it will come even in the
Yeah,
questions.
yeah.
Yeah, but let me take you through the admissions process once.
Okay, thank you.
So, for our liberal arts programs and for our integrated MBA program, the application process is completely separate, and what we do in that process, there may be a little difference as well. So, if we talk about all the liberal arts programs where these 16 majors are being offered, once you make the application, it's a quite extensive application, and there you also have to submit a personal story. So it's not a personal statement or statement of purpose. It's a personal story which is about you, and you can submit this story in writing, in a manner of poetry, in a manner of story, or in a self-shot video, or any way you can submit a personal story of yours. Because this is most important part of our application process, and after going through your personal story, will select your application for the further rounds. So, and all the rounds are knockout. So if you are selected in the stage one, you will go to the stage 2, which is our Krea assessment test, which will happen online, and you can appear for the Krea assessment test from your home. There will be a slot given. A slot, it means a 3-4 days window where you can log in anytime and appear for the test from your home, and it will be a AI proctored test. Also, if you have given SAT, and if your score is more than 1380, you bypass that assessment test, and you directly you are qualified for the interview process. Once your interviews are done, so your interviews are actually taken by a professor or a panel of professors, and after the interviews, the student receive the offers. But there is another stage which is there after the entrance test. If we feel that there is a student who whose marks are a little less in the assessment test, but looks positive and the application looks better, we give them an extra chance, and then those student, they go for another stage called Krea immersive case analysis, which is a group activity where all those students will be taken through a case study kind of competition, and out of those, if students are selected, they will be taken through the interview process. Once your interview call you receive, in that email you also receive the option of filling up application for financial assistance based on your financial need. So those whatever the regulations of financial need will be there, will be written in your email, interview email, and accordingly you can apply for that. And before the final offer letter, you also get to know whatever the financial assistance we are offering to you. That's it from the admission process side. And similarly, there is an application for our integrated MBA program. And for that integrated MBA program, it's almost similar, but we don't have that case study competition in that one. Also, there are some sectional cutoffs in the SAT or in our Krea assessment test, that mathematics is required, and the mathematics marks in SAT must be more than 600, or in 10th or your mathematics marks must be more than 60%. So there are such kind of sectional cutoffs which you can even go through on our eligibility criteria section in for integrated MBA admissions process. Okay, that's it from my side, Kritika, and we can go towards the questions
Sure,
now.
sure. So one of the questions was about the rounds, because at the moment it says that application deadline is 4th of January, and then there's slot 1,
Yes.
slot 2, slot 3.
Correct. So right now we have opened the round 1 admissions, and the deadline for those applications is January 4th. But before January 4th, we have given some slots for the Krea assessment test. The reason being that some students might have their exams, or IB board exam students might have their some kind of exams, or any kind of engagement. If they feel that there will be in January, at least they can complete their assessment test right now in these 3 slots. One is in November, another is in December, 2 are there in December, and then there is in January as well. So if they will just go through the test, but not the whole process will happen. Once the test is done, the next round will happen only after 4th of January, as mentioned in the round. Uh, Once the round 1 is closed, we will come up with the our dates of round 2, or maybe next 2 months we will announce our round 2 dates, not before that.
Okay, so that means that they can sort of apply for the test before they even submit the application.
Yeah, application they have to submit before 4th of January, obviously.
But they can do the test before and submit the application by 4th.
No, 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 no. If
Okay,
they have to go for that test, first they have to complete their application. So, for an
application.
example, if I am
Okay.
planning that 23rd November I will appear for my test, then I have to submit my application before 23rd of November. We will verify it. We will send you an email that your application is true and you can go for test. If you do not
Oh,
complete your application, you can't go for the test in these slots.
okay, sure.
Sir,
Okay.
sir, may I ask something?
Yes, please.
Sir, actually, I want to apply through, I'll be giving my IP MAT exam in 26. So I want to
Right.
apply to IFMR for IPM program through IPMET 2026.
Correct.
So for that, I have to fill in the forms at the second or the third stage or right now?
So the timelines for the IMBA programs are completely different from these timelines. Okay, so for that, what you can do is you could just go to the application form of IMBA program, and there you will find that timelines are little different. That there the round one and round two and round three are already declared, and also there is nothing like the entrance tests are in the slots. But if you are coming through IPMET, what I will suggest is first you complete your IMBA's application form, also give our own entrance test and also submit the IPMET entrance score when you get it, because we don't know what will happen in what tests. So at least there will be, you will have two kind of test options or the marks with you, and whichever is better, it will take you through.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Then the next question is about cricket coaching at Krea and courses in finance.
There's a
So,
cricket.
so we do not have any kind of professional coaching at Krea in cricket. Okay, yes, there are cricket facility, there are cricket nets, there are coaches, there are teams. But if you talk about some kind of professional coaching of that sport, I don't think so that will be available. The another question you asked about finance, right?
Yeah, courses in finance, undergraduate.
Okay, so as when I started, I mentioned about IFMR, Institute of Financial Management and Research, which is our business school, was offering finance-related multiple courses and at the post-grad level till now. And from this year, we have introduced two new majors which are of finance. One is economics with finance, and another is the business with finance. So these are two new majors of finance. So earlier, yes, everyone knew that the Krea did not have any kind of major option in finance, but now from this year onwards, we will have it. And even those students who took admission last year, they will also get the option of selecting those majors.
Okay, great. And then I have a question on what course to take for a student interested in data sciences and AI.
So we have a major of data science. So a student, if you want to go to AI, you can take a major of data science, and you can club that data science major with other major or minor options of mathematics. Or if you are thinking of AI, then physics is the another option which you can club with data science. I will not suggest clubbing data science with computer science. The reason is 50% of the course curriculum for those majors is same. So it's not a logical idea to club computer science plus data science.
Okay. And then what are the options you suggest at Krea for a student who's keen on BBA?
So I couldn't understand these questions. What are the options you suggest? So BBA, I've shown that there are four
Options.
concentrations which you go for in BBA program. Those are the specialization. The BBA curriculum is completely different. So you do not get the liberal arts curriculum's flexibility there. So it's a fixed curriculum, and it's more rigid. The studies are completely different. The style of students living is completely different. So for an example, the students of School of Interwoven Arts and Sciences, they can wear casual dresses, but if a student is doing a BBA program at Krea, they have to wear formals in the classes. So from a very small thing to every other part, there is a change. And in this program, from first year onwards, you will study program curriculum like law, corporate law, accounts, marketing, finance, human resources, procurement, purchase, supply chain management, and all. And every year there is a different kind of internship is being placed. So there may be an internship in accounts. Then next year there may be an internship in purchase or say supply chain. There will be an internship in your sales or human resources. So accordingly, your internships are designed, and every student in the final year will go through a different internship, which is a longer internship with a small businessman, where you will be going with a target of increasing the revenue of that business person, and obviously a small business person, so that you will be involved in multiple aspects of that business, which will give you a lot of learnings of that business. In that program, we also teach mandatorily, you have to go through one regional language. So if you are a student coming from Hindi speaking background, you have to go through, you have to learn Telugu or Tamil or Gujarati. We also teach. If you are coming from Telugu or Tamil background, you have to study either Gujarati or either Hindi. Even one foreign language is also mandate, because in all kind of business programs, if you need to run business, you need to know multiple languages.
Okay, super. Thank you so much for answering so many questions. We still have lots of questions coming in, but we do need to get our next speaker in from Flame. So what I would request you to do is, if you could please answer them in the chat itself.
I think
Yes, I think already
Yeah.
Ajit from our team is answering all those questions in the
answering
chat
them in
box.
the chat. Arpit, actually, I just wanted to pick up one question from the chat and ask you, can someone apply for two
Please.
courses in the application process? Can I apply for two courses?
If you want to apply for BBA, and if you also want to apply for our liberal arts school, you can do that. There is a complete separate process of application. The applications are completely separate, and even from the start of application page, if you go on website, the application page is also separate, so you can do that. And
Right.
in the
It's
liberal arts program,
apply
there is
twice.
nothing like you are applying for any major. It's single application, because major selection will happen in the year 2, not even in the year 1.
Right. Got that. Wonderful, Arpit. Thank you so much. And there are many questions there still. And thank you, Ajit, for answering questions over here. I think that the options are very exciting in Krea now, and particularly the options of double majors and data science and management and all the various things that people can do, and the fact that they can apply for two courses. So I think that's great flexibility and a lot of support the university offers. Thank you so much, Arpit, for making the time. And thank you so much, Ajit, for patiently answering all the questions.
Thanks, Richa.
Ajit,
I'll mention one thing about Ajit,
yeah,
who is answering the chat. So Ajit is a Krea alumni and Ashoka alumni. His bachelor is from Krea, his master is from Ashoka. He's back to Krea for PhD. So once you go through admission process, you will even get chance to meet and talk to Ajit and other few more other team members who are our alumni and Ashoka alumni. So all kind of questions will be answered by them.
wonderful. That's something to look forward to. Thank you so much, Arpit. Thanks for your time.
Okay. Bye-bye, Richa. Bye, Kritika.
Thank you so
Tonam, thank
much.
you so much.
So, now we've looked at Ashoka, which is a premier university in the north, and then we looked at Krea, which is a university more towards the south. And now we've got this big liberal arts university in the west, which has sort of been a pioneer of liberal arts education in India, which is Flame University. And there have been people who've been asking about design questions. And, Flame is one of the universities that also offers design. But I won't go so much into it because we have Prashant from Flame University, who manages the outreach. And thank you so much for making the time, Prashant. Mansi couldn't make it, and so Prashant was roped in at the last minute. And I really appreciate, Prashant, that you've made the time. Please welcome to our webinar, and please do share a little bit about yourself and the Flame University.
Thanks a lot, Richa, and sorry guys if you're disappointed that Mansi is not here, but yeah, I'll try to make up for her. So as Richa already introduced me, so I'm Prashant, guys. I'm taking care of outreach and admissions for Flame for the North region. If I talk about my background a bit, initially to tell you guys how I came here, how it's going. So basically, I have I would say a career. I have a background into counseling. I started my career as a counselor, have counseled around 1,000 students till now. And now, obviously, I'm with Flame, taking care of a lot of students like you as well. So, okay, so I'm want to keep a few things pretty much straight here, guys. I want you guys to ask as many questions as you can, because I'm not like the others wherein I'll just be like, I'll go through a presentation, I'll just read the slides. No, I do not believe in that. Yes, I'll show you the slides for reference. I'll give you guys an idea of how things work. And then towards the end, I'd like to take a lot of Q&As, because I understand that you guys will have a lot of doubts. according to the, you can say, regarding to the applications, regarding to the courses that we offer, the combinations that you guys can go for. So to start with, let me take up one of the most, I'd say, sought out of questions, wherein there's this misconception, I'd say, in the Indian market that liberal arts and liberal education is same. So first, to answer that, no, guys, that's not the case. Liberal arts and liberal education is a totally different domain. So when I talk about liberal arts, it's much more of a domain that covers the humanities part of the study domain, the humanities part of the education domain. That is what liberal arts is. So a lot of times students, they mistake Flame for being a liberal arts university, that we are not. So we are a liberal education university. What do I mean when I say liberal education is, so let's assume 10 years back from now, let's say we go to any random Indian university, right? Not downplaying any university, but let's just assume. And let's say we were going to study psychology over there. So would we have been able to study, let's say, finance or computer science or music or dance with psychology in any Indian university? Wasn't possible, right? And that is why we used to go abroad to get the liberty and independence to choose the subjects that we wanted, the subjects that we were actually interested in. So we brought this concept to India. So Flame being the pioneers of liberal education, we brought this to India. And how we do it basically is because we do not follow the conventional Indian curriculum. So we basically follow NEP that is pretty much similar to the American curriculum, you can say, wherein the concept remains the same. So you guys have the concept of a major and a minor, major being your primary interest area, minor being your secondary interest area. So these are two combinations that you get. This is one thing. Now, one of the most interesting thing that I'd like to share with you guys is from this year onwards, we have introduced a third combination in your curriculum. So now with a major and a minor, you guys can have concentrations as well. Now, what is concentration over here? And what do I mean when I say you can have a third combination? With concentration is, so let's say you've chosen one major. That is something that you're actually interested in. So let's say that'll be psychology as a major. Okay. Then I take one minor. Let's say that's into uh, finance, for example, right? Now, in my fourth year, I can choose the specific domain of psychology that I want to concentrate on, that I want to make my career on, and focus on that in your fourth year. So now you guys can have a major, a minor, and a concentration in your fourth year. That is properly choice basis. So if you wish to, you can. If you do not wish to, you do not have to. So I'll just, Richa, if you allow, can I share my screen quickly?
Yes, please.
Sure, thank you. So here, I'll just share my screen with you. I'll make you guys go through some slides quickly, okay? And then I'll make you guys understand what all combinations are there, how we do it differently. So it's just that one thing I'll tell you guys straight away, what not to expect from Flame is the conventional 9 to 5 lectures every day, every week. That's not how we operate. With us, it's going to be much more of practical implementation, okay, exposure, networking, and basically going ahead and doing a personality development. Because when you get into the market, it's not just your degree that lands you a job. It's how you represent yourself. It's how you represent your knowledge. So that is something that we focus on. Okay. Now, to start with, why liberal education, why it makes sense, I'll give you guys a very quick example of this. So let's say you're going in for an interview and there are two profiles. One profile is a profile that has done, let's say, a normal bachelor's in marketing, right? And let's say then there's one more profile, the second profile, who's done a bachelor's in marketing, but that profile also has some knowledge about psychology. So which profile will be given the preference over there? Is always going to be the second profile. Why? So let's say I give a specific task to both the profiles. I ask them to run a marketing campaign for me for one of my products. So now the person who knows marketing, who is an expert in marketing, that person will run 4 or 5 different campaigns. Then according to the results, come in for the best marketing campaign that has been for me, according to the views, according to the response that I've got, right? Now, the person who knows psychology with marketing that person actually knows the psyche of the audience they are dealing with, right? So that person will do the marketing campaign directly according to the psyche and the need of the audience they are dealing with. This is just a small example. Similarly, you cross combine multiple domains and make yourself much more, I'd say, skilled in the market, much more available in the market. It helps you sustain in the market longer. Okay. Now, why liberal education is what we were talking about. So, what are the skills that the employers majorly look for today whenever you're going in for an interview, right? One is analytical thinking. So, I do not mind if someone is coming to me, let's say I'm getting a fresh graduate who's, let's say, a BTech graduate. I'm hiring for a management profile. So, I'll be open to hire that person if I see that the person is willing to learn. That is one thing. The second is I see the critical thinking aspect of that person is really good. I see the analytical thinking aspect of that person is really good. I see the communication, the leadership qualities, the teamwork qualities. Basically, if that person has some good awareness, if I'm getting any such into stuck into any random situation, if that person can think of a solution quickly. So that is what the employers look for nowadays, right? So what you guys have to work on is how you are as a whole person, along with your education, obviously. It's not like I'm going to hire someone who's a 12th pass out for a job into management. No, obviously we need the education, but with that alongside, we need the other skill sets as well. And that is what liberal education focuses on. That is what Flame is all about, I'd say. Okay. Moving ahead. Yes. So abilities that are cultivated in a liberal education culture, basically critical thinking, what I was talking about, leadership, resilience, analyzing our problems effectively, okay, understanding what the root of the problem is, then coming up with the solution according to that, okay, then communicating persuasively. What does it actually mean when I say communicating persuasively? So whenever I'm presenting something, whenever I'm talking to someone, I should persuade them. I should tell them that, okay, this is why it makes sense. This is why you should go for it, right? This is what it brings to your table. It's not just about me. Okay. So having that communication part wherein you're not just overselling things, you're basically presenting a better part of it. Okay. Then you work independently and collaboratively, think from first principles, solve complex problems, and agility and flexibility to have and face challenges. So basically, what I mean is the statement, again, coming back to it that I mentioned in the starting, it's not just your degree that lands your job. It's how you represent yourself. If it was just the degree, I'm not going to name any institutions. A lot of institutions wouldn't have around 53% unemployability rate, right? They'll still not be roaming around in the market unemployed. It's about how you represent yourself. Okay. Now moving ahead, here, this is how your 4-year journey with Flame actually looks. So the best part here is I saw a lot of questions that student had in the last session that was being taken by one of the university reps out there as well. So can we apply for 2 domains, whether we can apply for 2 courses or not? So look, the best part out here is your first year with Flame with us is basically a foundation year, your base year, wherein we do not ask you to study any subject. Okay, you get 5 different domains that covers the whole knowledge spectrum. Okay, you yourself choose all the subjects you're interested in from those 5 domains, understand where your interest actually lies, and on the basis of that choose a major and a minor in your second year. Okay, so 60% of our student, they come with a undecided major minor, and they have the liberty to choose their major and their minor in their second year. And even if you, let's say you've decided on a major and a minor in your first year itself, you go through the first year and then you feel like, okay, this is not my cup of tea. I'd want to go for some other domain. You are allowed to change your major and your minor in your second year as well. Okay, so you have that liberty. That is what liberty independence means. So you have the time to explore, you have the time to understand your actual interest and what you're good at. Because a lot of times what happens is that's my personal story as well. I'm a BTech graduate. Because in our time, we didn't had any options to change in between. We had to go through the whole course.
If you're watching this, you're probably a big football fan, and the perfect free football app for you is OneFootball, which you can download through the link in the description below.
That's all right. I think it was.
Okay, that's totally fine. So that is how it works. So you have the independence and liberty to choose the subjects that you wish to according to your interest. So your first year is explore, wherein you explore your interest, you understand where your interest actually lies. Second year is immerse. When you start learning about your major, you start get deep diving into your majors. Third year is your imbibe, wherein you start practically implementing whatever you're learning. Okay, so whatever you learn, you start practically implementing that. And fourth year is your connect, wherein you do the networking part, wherein you go and meet with industrialists from your own domain and basically go out in the market and explore your interests. Now, these are the specific options that you have available out here when I talk about the degree options that you guys have. So we have 5 different schools. So one is School of Liberal Education, one is School of Computing and Data Sciences, one is School of Design, Art and Performance, one is School of Business, and the last one is School of Communication. And the degrees that we offer throughout these schools is a BA honors, a BSc honors, a BBA honors, a BBA communications management, and a bachelor's in design degree. Now, a lot of students come up with questions like, why don't you guys have degrees into BTech or BCom? So the reason behind that is degrees like BTech or BCom, they only basically exist in India. So it's just the difference of nomenclature that you have. So when you go out of India, when you go to any university abroad as well, you'll majorly find 2 types of degrees. It'll either be a BA or it'll either be a BS. So BA are all the non-science degrees and BS are all the science tech degrees. So these are the options that you guys have. So what I mean to say by this is you have computer science available with us as well, a 4-year degree in computer science, but that'll be a BSc in computer science. But one thing that you guys can keep in mind is the credit points that you guys get for that 4-year BSc in computer science are more than a conventional BTech degree, the normal credit points that you get in a BTech degree. So that is one thing that you can keep in mind. The curriculum is much more rigorous, much more to date, much more advanced, I would say. Okay. Now you guys.
Integrated degree, right? Someone's asking, Prashant, like a 5-year bachelor's plus master's integrated degree. You don't offer that, right?
No, so when I talk about offering integrated degrees, we do not specifically offer that. We do not have a combined bachelor's plus master's.
Right. Wonderful. Great.
Yes.
So go ahead. Is there anything else you were presenting, or should I just plunge into all the questions?
I'll just share the combinations with these guys, and then we can just go about the question and answers that we have. Okay, so I'll just quickly go to the combinations that you guys have. We'll skip this. You guys will anyhow have a good idea about what all there is with us. So these are the degrees that you guys have available with us. So in BA, you guys have economics, psychology, literary and cultural studies, international studies, environmental studies, public policy. In BSc, you guys have applied mathematics, computer science, data science and economics, computer science and design. In BBA honors, you guys have finance, marketing, human resource management, operations, business analytics and AI, entrepreneurship, general management. And BBA comms is much more about the digital media management, advertising and branding and marketing. And these are the major minor combinations that you guys have. So you guys can either click a picture of this. So these are your majors that you can combine the minors with. These are your minors. So let's say you're taking finance as a major, you can combine it with any one of the minors in the yellow dots.
Can you show us a full screen, please? This will really be helpful.
Sure, I'll just do that. Here. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So these are the different major minor combinations you guys have. Okay. You can choose anything, and basically a lot of your concentrations will be based on the kind of combinations of majors and minors you guys go for. Okay. So let's say if you're going with finance as a major and you're going with computer science as a minor, Now, a lot of you would want to make your career into financial analytics. Okay. But don't just want to limit yourself into one aspect of finance in your bachelor's itself. So you do your major in finance, do your minor in computer science, then choose a concentration into financial analytics in your fourth year and focus on that. So that is the beauty of adding concentrations with the major minor combinations. Okay. And these are the different concentration options that I was talking about. So if you guys look over here, you guys will see that if you take public policy as a major or environmental studies as a minor, these are the concentrations, all the concentrations that we have introduced with different major minor combinations. You guys can click a picture of this as well. So it'll be easier for you guys to refer to.
Right.
Yes, so that's majorly it from my end. If you guys have any questions, please, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
That's wonderful, Prashant. We have also been answering questions since we were seeing people struggling with it earlier, right? But do you offer history as a major is one of the questions, and I think that answer is yes, right?
Look, when I talk about history as a major, no, we do not offer history as a major.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, there's a question saying that for Cambridge students, are grades like ABB or BBB good enough to secure an admission in Flame? I know it's a leading question, but would you want to?
Yeah. So again, look, when I talk about admission requirements when it comes to Flame, we have a very holistic approach wherein we look at your overall profile when it comes to, taking the admissions. But again, when it comes to Cambridge students, we require at least 3 A's, and AB is the maximum grades that we are going to consider. C as well, we consider to a most of the extent, but obviously we require at least 3 A's.
Right, wonderful. There are some questions on design, particularly if you could explain about experience design and product design, that what is meant here, or what Flame does. Would you have that depth? Yeah.
Yes, sure. So look, guys, when I talk about bachelor's in design that is being offered with us, so the bachelor's degree in design that we offer is much more of a experiential design degree. So the major that you guys do in the bachelor's of design with us is into experiential design. So it is not one aspect of design that we are going to focus on. It is basically a combination of product designing, UI, UX, animations, graphic designing. So you will learn all of this, but that in collaboration with AI. Because let's say 5 years back, if I had to design one aspect, let's say I'm designing one specific portrait, that used to take around 3-4 hours. Now I'll just go and give one prompt on a chat GPT or any AI platform, and I'll have it in what, 1 minute? 30 seconds, right? So we are basically incorporating AI into design and teaching you guys on the basis of that.
Right. Prashant, there's a question over here about the SAT score that would be considered in lieu of the FEAT.
Sure. So the SAT scores that we consider when it comes to, in comparison to FEAT is 1350. So anything around 1350 or above is good enough to be considered.
Also, since you said some Cambridge level requirements, are there AB level IB requirements that you could also share, sort of like a certain amount that students need to at least have as their grade?
So to be very honest with you here, we do not consider IBCP students. We only consider IBDP students. So when it comes to IBDP1 and DP2, so the minimum score that we look for is around 33.
Right. Okay, got that. Prashant, so there are many more questions, and we will collate some of these and send them across to you as well. Please, if you
For
could
sure.
stay back and answer some of them,
Sir,
that would be very, very helpful. So, if we can please ask you for a little more time, and if you can answer some of the questions there, that will really be wonderful. Thank you again, Prashant, for making the time and for being here. Would you be able to stay back and answer their questions, or should we collate it?
For sure, I'll answer some of the questions, but for some of the questions that I'll not be able to answer, you can just collate it and send it to me, or I'll just drop my email ID in the chat as well. So anyone who feels like they can reach out to me over there.
Right. Okay, wonderful. So, Prashant has answered a lot of the questions. I think some of the questions here are about whether you're splitting the course or the grade or not. Please, Prashant will try and answer what he can, and the rest we'll collate and we'll try and respond to you as soon as we can, as soon as we hear back from the university. All right, so we've spent some time now trying to understand these three universities from across three corners of our country. And now we're sort of moving into a zone where we are meeting universities that offer much more rigorous STEM options, particularly, options that are at the same level as engineering. People were talking about BS and BTech degrees, and here you'll have degrees that would be engineering degrees. So I know a lot of you are waiting for this. So let's start with Shiv Nadar University. Every year we've been doing this webinar, and this is the first time we've had the pleasure of having Shiv Nadar University with us. So welcome, Gurnam. Hi, Gurnam, and welcome, and thank you so much for.
Hello. Hi, good evening, everyone.
We can't see you yet.
Thank you so much for having me around.
Gurnam,
Yes, ma'am, my apologies for that.
oh, your video is not working, is it?
Yes, there's some challenge. If you can allow me to continue with the presentation, and would the audio be available?
All right, Gurnam, that's perfectly fine. So, welcome here. Please do tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about the university. And I'm sure there'll be so many questions because a lot of students are looking for answers about STEM courses, and you could provide those answers, Gurnam. So, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. So, very good evening, everyone. My name is Gurnam. I am part of the admissions and outreach team at Shiv Nadar University, Delhi, NCR. I'm sure we are not really far away, but you already do know more. You have some information about the university, and I'll be happy to share more information. I do not have the sharing rights. If you can.
You would be able to share, Gurnam. There would not be a
Sure.
problem.
Okay. Let me check. Yeah. I hope my screen is visible.
Yeah, it's almost saying that it started screen sharing and now it's visible. Absolutely wonderful.
Great. So we are India's premier multidisciplinary and research-based university. We were set up in 2011. It's only now that the NEP talks about the four-year undergraduate programs, but can proudly say that we were a couple of exceptions, which includes the IISc Bangalore. We were allowed to continue with our four-year undergraduate programs. The NEP then started to talk about four-year undergraduate program as a norm. So moving ahead, I'm not sure if you know about Mr. Shiv Nadar. He's the founder of HCL Technologies. We are a proud, part of the Shiv Nadar Foundation, which is a philanthropic initiative of Mr. Nadar and his family. And as I said, we were established in 2011. We are a residential campus, so all programs are on campus. The students will have to be, attend on campus programs, and they can, if they are staying in Noida, they can, of course, go back home over the weekend. Moving forward, we are also the youngest institution of eminence. Now, again, I'm not sure how many of you do know about that particular title, but it's a title given to us by the Government of India. It was basically launched as a project in 2018. The final LOR came from, or rather LOI came from the Government of India in 2022. So there are currently only 4 private institutions which are, have got that particular title. So a bit of a background, the title basically allows a lot of flexibility to run our own programs in terms of, newer programs that are very, very relevant for the current times, and also a lot of opportunity in terms of the flexibility and some of the things that the NEP talks about really, right? So in a very short span of 14 years, these are just some of the recognitions that we've got. That includes, we've been ranked in the top 100 continuously for 8 years. And there are other recognitions. Last year, we were declared as FICCI University of the Year as well, and other rankings and awards as well. So Mr. Nadar has always had the vision that you continue to do good work and your work will get recognized. So we follow that, very, very, we follow that particular thing. So, yeah. As I said, we were the first university which started offering 4-year multidisciplinary programs or research degrees. In 2024, we also started with a dual degree program, which was basically that's a 2+2, so 2 years in India and 2 years in the US. Our partners are a state university. Very quickly to the programs that we offer. So we have a School of Engineering, which offers 5 majors in computer science, electrical and computer engineering, mechanical, chemical and civil engineering. There's also School of Humanities and Social Sciences, which offers BSc research programs in economics, economics finance, English and international relations. These are BA research programs. And then there is a Bachelor of Design program, which offers a BDes. It can also be considered as an integrated program if the students spend 1 extra year. So with that, it becomes like a 4+1 program. We have a School of Natural Sciences, which offers a BSc research in physics, chemistry, mathematics, and biotechnology. And finally, the School of Management and Entrepreneurship that offers a Bachelor of Management Studies. It's a 4-year management degree, which offers the students to explore areas of finance, marketing, HR, business operations strategy, overall a business program, but that's also a 4-year undergrad program. The economics and finance program appears in both the places under humanities and management, because finance is taken care by the management faculty and economics is taught by the faculty from the economics School of Humanities and Social Sciences. The international programs, of course, there is a computer science program, which is a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. And then there is a business data analytics. This year, we are launching a few more pathways. So the degree that we offering is with pathways in areas like artificial intelligence in business. There's finance. There's also computer information systems. So those are some of the pathways under the PS business program. Coming to some of the specializations that we offer within the engineering program, as I said, we are multidisciplinary. So, there are opportunities, and I'll talk about the curriculum, how the structure really works with a major and a minor combination. Of course, my previous speakers have already spoken about major minor combinations, but we kind of have it slightly differently. So the School of Engineering, these are specific specializations under each of the engineering domains that can be looked at. So say, for example, computer science engineering, we will look at artificial intelligence, data science, cybersecurity, systems and networks. And there are other specific specializations like under mechanical, there is robotics and automation as well. Then we also offer certain interdisciplinary specializations. I'm sure some of the students who are interested in mechanical, they do understand a car these days is more than just a machine. It is a combination of electrical, electronics, mechanical, of course, and a lot of codes that go into the particular, the vehicle itself. And so there is computational mechanics, there is also cognitive robotics, there's also applied machine intelligence, which is open to across all departments. So these are some of the interdisciplinary engineering streams or specializations that the students can also look at based on their interest. I'm very happy to share that we are launching a BA research program this year. It is a BA research in interdisciplinary humanities and social sciences. The students will be able to look at majors in sustainability studies, archaeology, heritage and historical studies, and society, culture, and technology. It is pretty similar to liberal arts program, where the first year is very common, and then post the first year, the students can look at choosing their majors. When I talk about, just before moving to that, when I talk about, say, physics, chemistry, mathematics, or maybe economics, finance, or English, for example, in the 4th year, it is mandatory for the students to do a research thesis. So that basically means that once they move into the 4th year, the student will have to select a particular topic and then come up with a particular research thesis for a 1-year time period. Right. So I thought I'll just just mentioned that, and that's one of the reasons the degrees are also called a BA research or a BSc research. Coming to some of our international collaborations, so these are some of our partner universities where the students can explore summer semester research project or an entire semester exchange program where the student do travel to the particular university, and there's also a possibility of credit transfers as well. Very important to understand whom you will be learning from. So I can proudly say that our faculties come from some of these renowned universities across the globe, and taught there, done their PhD, and also maybe some of them have also done their undergrad from few of them. So it is you can be rest assured that you'll be learning from the best of the faculty who come with global experience, and not just across the world, but within the country as well. The IITs, NITs, ISERs, IASC, JNU, and you name it, and the faculty will be from a particular background. Very quickly, coming to the curriculum that we follow, I think this will give a better explanation of what is the curriculum really followed at the university. So, setup, unlike say liberal education, where do come in with typically you will have to declare your major. Of course, there are options where you can change your major at the end of the first year, but that does require a certain process. I mean, it has a certain process, so the students would have to go through that process. And there have been changes that are made by the students. But there is a major component which is close to 75% of your the major in the engineering. It could be physics, chemistry, mathematics, biotechnology, bachelor of management. University-wide electives, as the name suggests. These are electives which are offered across the university. Now you have two options here. Either complete the 12% by taking so that it becomes like a flexi basket for you, or if you want to take a minor in a
I'm sorry, Gurnam. Your audio is a bit poor. We are not able to hear. Is there a possibility of fixing this problem? We are unable to hear you, Gurnam.
Okay, ma'am. Let me try. It is. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
We
Am
can
I
hear
am I
you
audible?
now. Yes, but it was breaking, so we missed a lot of what you said.
The
Hello,
last,
ma'am.
this is better.
Can you hear us?
Okay. Let me. Is it better now?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Maybe he can't hear us right now, actually. So I've put the different cycles that Flame has for admissions in the chat box. People were asking if admissions are open, so the different cycles are there. And it's so interesting to see that they have such a range of options now. The BA research degrees are really excellent, as well as I think the engineering options that they're offering. So, and the design options also, because they're one of the few universities that offer the whole range, including design. So those are options that you can look at. Perhaps we can just wait. I think what I shared is for Flame. 1 minute, I'll just find. Gurnam, you're on mute now. Are you there, Gurnam? You're on mute. Yes, a recording will be shared with everybody who's registered for the webinar. If you've not formally registered, just drop your email over here and we'll share your number and we'll share the recording with you. But anyone who registered through any of the forms online or over WhatsApp, you would receive a recording in just a couple of days. So I don't know, has Gurnam dropped out? I think we can just give him a couple more minutes to join back and then take it from there.
Apologies. Am I audible now?
Yes, you're audible now. Gurnam, thank you.
Apologies. My sincere apologies for that.
Not at
Sorry.
all. People are asking if the admissions process is open yet or not.
Ma'am, we are planning to open within the next 10 days. So tentatively, somewhere around the 20th, we should be able to, the application should get open. I mean, that's a tentative date.
Right. Okay.
Sure. So if you want, I can explain this particular slide again, if because I think that's the time when the audio went off. So I was talking about how the curriculum structure really works. This basically means that I come in for a particular major, which is around 75% of the curriculum. And then I get opportunity to look at various other courses or streams which are offered or rather available across the university. So in this particular case, it is a mechanical engineering major where a student can look at a minor in design. Again, it is optional, not mandatory. If I do not opt for the minor in design or any other minor for that matter, I can pick and choose courses from various areas and complete my 12% credits. I'm sure, I hope that you understand what really a credit is, where right now in school you have certain subjects and those are your courses. But once you come to the university, each course will have a certain number of credits for you to get it as part of your semester, right? So and then all those credits gets recorded to consolidate and give you the degree every semester. I mean, a degree at the end of 4 years, and they get consolidated, right? So when you are able to, if you are able to complete the 12% with a minor, then you get a minor on the degree itself. And then what we have is a core common curriculum, which is like the liberal education, where it is part of the foundation here. So these are the 8 broad areas like Indian history, world history, culture and communication, physical and biological system, cognition and intelligence, technology, environmental science or environmental area is one of the most, it is a mandatory course that every student has to take, no matter what their major is. So that is one important thing. And so then you complete the 13% through the core common curriculum to actually club it together to make it 100%. Right? Very quickly, these are some of the competencies that we feel are very, very important in today's time. And that's why, our curriculum revolves around these, where the students do get an opportunity to look at data and analysis. There's research skills. Of course, there is a communication, there is entrepreneurship, a global perspective. And, primarily through research, we are allowing students to actually understand real life world problems and then, of course, come up with solutions to those problems, right? So these are some of the competencies that our curriculum really focuses on. Coming to entrepreneurship, so we do really feel that entrepreneurship is very, very important, and we have an adult incubation center on campus to support the students. If the students really want to explore a business idea, they can approach the incubation center, discuss their particular idea, and get mentorship. And right from the business idea to the launch of the business, they can get the desired guidance and mentorship as well. Very quickly, in terms of the outcome, so our alumni are spread across the world. A good percentage is in the US, but they are spread across other continents, Europe, UK, of course, Canada, Australia as well.
वो
So
काम कर रही है, she's ready to leave. जो चाहिए उठ के ले लूं.
yeah, and then one of the important aspect is that because of their research inclination, some of our students have gone for a direct PhD, more so in the US. So based on their undergraduate research thesis and the kind of research interest they would have, they've been offered direct PhD programs and with scholarships. So very happy to share that information, and they've been doing this since 2015. Right. Very quickly to some of the organizations that our students
28 हो गए.
and they have been placed at. So these are some of the places or the organizations that they've gone to. It's a huge list over a period of time, but these are some of the most well-known across various domains and sectors. A glimpse of the university placements. On an average, we've been having 90% plus placement across since last 10 years. Just a glimpse of that. And these are university-wide. Research, as I said, continues to be our ecosystem. So these are some of the centers that we have at the university. So right from Himalayan studies to advanced materials to artificial intelligence, that's the most recent center. We also have a Dassault system, Shiv University Center of Excellence, where we are using the Dassault system, technology to come up with solutions through our research mindset. And there is, as I said, Adult Incubation Center. There's a Center for Epigenetics, Integrative and Translational Research as well. Again, a few points on our exceptional infrastructure. We have a supercomputer on campus. There's a stomics lab. Not many universities have a stomics lab. Good number of bio firms have this particular lab to look at or do research in terms of genetics. Very quickly, this is our biodiversity map. So if you do want to visit, take a look at our campus, you can definitely do that. Just you can reach out to us and we'll be happy to host you on the campus to take you around with our clean biodiverse campus. More than 50 plus clubs and societies where the students can actually participate in. And we have a great sports infrastructure as well. 2 cricket fields. There are indoor and outdoor sport facilities that are available. Very quickly to the scholarships. So these are some of the scholarships that we offer. We have merit scholarship and the school topper scholarship. These are based on primarily grade 12 scores. So say, for example, you have 95% in grade 12, then you can expect a 25% tuition fee waiver. If you are a school topper and you are 98% and above, then you can be considered for a 50% tuition fee waiver that has to be certified by the school principal. We have a merit cum means scholarship. There is also the sports scholarship currently offered only on individual sports like tennis, lawn tennis, table tennis. There's squash and there is chess. So you can expect if you are, playing at the state level, national level, or international level, then you can be considered for the sports scholarship as well. These are some of the other scholarships. So we are trying to promote women in engineering. For some of you who do not know, the Scorpio was designed by a chief female. Rather a female who was a chief designer, and she was taking care of the project. So the idea is to allow, except for maybe computer science, the idea is to promote engineering in all other streams as well, right? To break the silos, and we are offering this particular scholarship. So there is the Vice Chancellor Scholarship also, in case the students who do really well in our admission process, they can be considered for the Vice Chancellor Scholarship as well. Very quickly to the admission process. So of course, the information will be made available in say around 10 days time, but I'll try and keep it brief. So we have our own exam, which is called the SNU SAT. Except for engineering, it is open to all other programs. So if you want to apply it through our test, you can take this test. It is an online test which has logical reasoning and quantitative reasoning. It is at grade 10th level. So, nothing required from the higher grades. and it will be an online test for 90 minutes, online test, and which will be proctored. In case you want to apply for engineering programs, any of the engineering programs, then you can combine the academic proficiency test along. So then it becomes more like a 2.5 hour online test, which is 90 minutes of SNU SAT and 1 hour of the APT. APT has only physics and maths, so there is no chemistry that is considered. Primarily, it gets considered. It is not there in the exam, but it is only considered if you are looking at chemical engineering. So that's where physics, chemistry, math become mandatory. But otherwise, all other engineering stream, it's primarily physics and maths, which is the specific requirement. Coming to the routes, so for the School of Engineering, there is an option of JEE Mains. There is, of course, as I said, the SNU, SAT, and APT. College Board SAT remains one of the major routes that is being used for students by students who are applying to us. ACT is also an option. CUET is subject to availability of seats, so we don't really recommend CUET because it comes in a lot later, and our admission process is first come first serve basis. So it is recommended that you apply early, so the chances of you getting an offer is higher, right? And because we have limited seats. Very quickly to the School of Natural Sciences. So we have, JEE Mains is an option. NEET score for biotechnology is an option. And there is, of course, the SNU, SAT, College Board SAT, ACT, and CUT subject to availability of seat, except for the maths program. All three other programs, which are physics, chemistry, and biotechnology, they will have an interview process. So once you are shortlisted on the basis of the examination score, then you will be asked to appear for an interview. It will be an online interview. You need not travel to the campus. And, then based on the round that you're appearing in, you will be asked to appear for an online interview. For the School of Humanities and Social Sciences, it is specific. So English program will require an interview. Then there is the international relations. There is economics and finance. In case you are applying for the B design program, you can apply it through GSEED. You could also take either the SAT or the SAD SAT. And then it is followed by a portfolio review and an interview with the faculty panel. And finally, the School of Management and Entrepreneurship, similar routes, SAD SAT, College Board SAT, ACT, and a ballot CUET, again subject to availability of seat in that particular program. I'm almost finished, so you can reach out to us. If there are any questions, specific ones, I'll be happy to answer. I thought I'll try and keep it very brief, given that we've been on for quite some time. And apologies for the interruption.
That was great, quick, Gurnaam, run through everything. Thank you so much for that. We have, I think, questions about the SAT. Do you have a cutoff for the SNU or the SAT, the College Board SAT, or any of those tests that you mentioned?
Like, is there a SAT or ACT score which will make it not necessary for them to take the SNU SAT, like a cutoff score they should look at?
Yes, ma'am. So see, typically every department has their, or rather every program would have their own specific cutoffs. So, I generally don't share, but, we are in a presentation, but like last year, computer science had score, it started off with 1450, went up till 1550 by the time we closed it. So, those specific departments will have specific cutoffs. So if the student is submitting the SAT score, they'll get an update if they are shortlisted basis on that.
Okay, so there is an option of you submitting the College Board SAT score, and if you do get shortlisted, it means that you will not be needed to take any of those other tests mentioned. Is that
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
And also within the application, there are 3 program preferences that you can choose. So you'll have to accordingly see if, say, your first program preference has SAT, if your second preference requires another examination, or you can take the SNU SAT. So there are 3 preferences that we give in the online application for the students.
All right, that sounds good. We have a quick question here about history, in the presentation earlier, you said
Yes, ma'am.
it did not show history, but I think you said that you're introducing the BA.
The BA
Yes, ma'am.
research
Yes, ma'am.
program, archaeology program, I think that has
Right.
historical
So
studies.
Yes,
that
ma'am.
will include history, I'm guessing, right?
It does. It does. It does. It is
Yeah.
the combination of archaeology, history, and heritage studies.
Okay, and that will be for the 2026 batch?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
Right. There's a question here about the IB score. Is there a sort of a minimum IB score people need to be able to apply to SNUS to Shiv Nadar?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So we basically look at, till the time IB never used to declare the percentage scores. So we had 28 as the requirement. But now because IB does come out with the actual percentage scores, because earlier they used to give us ranges, because there used to be a table in terms of, if this is, say the score is 6, so then it will be at a particular range. But now because they have percentages, so we've kind of switched to the percentage requirement. So with the IB, 65% cutoff remains across. So that comes to somewhere around 28. So ideally, if someone who's 28 and above should be able to, get in, clear the eligibility criteria.
Right. And is there some admission range that typically this is the range that admitted students have in IB scores?
Ma'am, it is a fairly, I think, between 30 to 40 is an average.
Between
But if I look at the number, I think 36 is what the average is what we have.
Right, right.
We also have a question on whether JE score is enough for admission here.
So if specifically you are looking at engineering, yes, JE can be considered, but it is also considered for, say, physics, mathematics, and chemistry as well. So JE score is enough, but again, it will depend on the specific cutoffs for the specific programs.
Right. And if a student has taken only the SAT, can they apply to the engineering college with only the SAT?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So there is also an option, say, for example, you do not make it with the SAT in the first round, then you can appear for our own exam to be considered again for the same programs through the SNU SAT.
Got that.
So just in case if the student doesn't make it through the SAT score.
Right. And lastly, Gurnam, if I can ask you about Cambridge A levels, because we have parents from Cambridge A levels who are asking if there is a range of grades in Cambridge A levels that would make them eligible to apply.
Sure, ma'am. So it's pretty much the same as IB, because Cambridge also used to give out just grades like an A star or an A earlier, but now they have a concept of percentage uniform marks. So typically, if you ask me, B and above in all the subjects, the student should be able to clear the eligibility criteria. And if we talk about specific in terms of the percentage uniform marks, it is 65 again.
So similarly, someone's asked for CBSE and ICSE as well. We can't ignore those, Gurnam.
Absolutely. So that remains 65. So the subject specifications have to be considered in those. So there is, say, for example, if you're coming through CBSE and you are applying for engineering, so the PCM score has to be 65, right? But on similar lines, if you are coming in for, say, chemistry, then you need to have chemistry as a subject, and then three other subjects, which should include English. So best of 4 with chemistry, it has to be 65. Similarly, if you are coming in for, say, economics or economics and finance, it needs to have maths and English, and 2 other subjects can be included to, along with that, the minimum eligibility, again, remains the same at 65. So you just have to be careful on the requirements of the subject as well.
Got that. Thank you so much, Gurnam. Thank you for your time. for being here. There are some more questions. Would it be possible for you to just look at the questions and answer them in the chat box?
Absolutely, ma'am. I'll do that.
Then we'll send some of those to you. It's really heartening to see a university that's offering courses for students across engineering and design and social sciences and natural sciences. And I'm sure students are excited about taking this, especially students in Delhi, Gurgaon. We have so many of them. To have a university close to home, I think that's an excellent opportunity. Thank you, Gurnam, for being here and sharing everything with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Always a pleasure, and happy to share any other, answer any other queries that the students or the parents might have. And of course, given that we are in Delhi NCR, would be happy to host some of them if they do wish to visit the campus sometime, given the time and whenever there is availability.
Thank you, Gurnam.
Thank you.
Right. So with this, now we move to a STEM university that everybody who's applying for STEM is looking at applying to, and it's pretty much a leading university that offers engineering courses for you and some very interesting futuristic combinations. And I know today, Vikram, it's been a really hectic day for you, and we really pushed the schedule around to make sure that you are here with us. So thank you so much for making the time. And Vikram leads admissions. He's the director of admissions at Plaksha, and he's happy to share the whole Plaksha experience and admission process and answer your questions. So over to you, Vikram.
Thank you so much, and I'm sorry of putting this on you yesterday. I had a session with the IB board today, and this was pre-planned, and I'm so sorry for doing that.
All right, I'm so glad you were able to make it finally.
Not
Vikram.
at all, not
Really
at all. And thank you to all the audience. I know 2 hours is a long time to sit in front of the computer. I don't even know how many of them are here, but
a large 60 plus audience right now, so
correct.
everyone's waiting.
We'll go ahead. Yeah. So let me quickly, I'm going to keep it like 10 minutes so that we can spend more time on questions and less on slides. And a lot of this is available on the website, which students and parents can go through. Plaksha is reimagining technology education and research. I think India has 5,000 engineering colleges. There's something that's broken in engineering education. I feel a lot of the silos, you have departments, two departments not talking to each other. There's a lot of threat of emerging technologies that's coming up, that's taking away low-end mundane jobs. Engineers are also thought of people who don't understand humanities, social sciences, they can't connect the dots, they can't ask the right questions, they're not articulate. So I think there's also very little design thinking that happens within engineering programs. So we're trying to solve all of that through Plaksha. First of the most important thing that we've tried to solve and address for is the kind of programs that are offered world over, not just India. If you look at top universities, even abroad, have programs that are sort of siloed. You have civil, mechanical, electrical engineering that are offered as disciplines. But if you look at roles that are coming up in the field of tech, you have geneticists, you have computer vision engineers, you have roboticists. A lot of these new emerging careers are at the intersection of multiple disciplines. And while India has several options now, when you look at liberal arts and sciences, in tech, there's really very few options available where there are futuristic and progressive programs that are available, right? So I think that's where we come in. We launched the university in 21. Three main objectives. One is to reimagine what technology education should mean like. We're integrating innovation, tech innovation, entrepreneurship mindset in engineers. And the vision of Plaksha is really to create technology leaders who can solve some of the grand challenges using technology, right? So I think those are the three key pillars of Plaksha. It's a global philanthropic effort. I think one of the biggest in India. We've raised about 1,500 crores to start Plaksha. And we today have more than 100 founders, people who are at the forefront of leading technology revolution in India, whether it's Make My Trip, Naukri.com, Policy Bazaar, InfoEdge, Axis Bank, several, Flipkart, Binny Bansal, for example, is a huge donor. So we have more than 100 founders, and also CSR from companies like Dixon, Jefferies, Indigene, IndusInd Bank, and they continue to support us. So I think this model of education is what differentiates us very, very much from all other institutions in India. We have faculty members who are global academicians from across the world. Our chancellor was, for instance, the former dean of engineering at Berkeley. Dr. Rudra Pratap, who's the vice chancellor, actually was the deputy director at Indian Institute of Science. So these are people who've built serious research and science-based universities, both in India and across the world. For example, Arpit's lab in IISc, he started the Nanoscience and Technology Center at IISc. One of the top scientists today in the country, who's sort of at the helm of Plaksha, and all our full-time faculty members, advisors. So Bala, who you see at the bottom of the screen, was actually the head of strategy at IIT Delhi for about 10 years before being the head of postgraduate programs at IIT Delhi. So Sunita Chauhan, who you see, is the head of mechatronics at Monash. He spent about a decade at NTU. So we've handpicked people from across the world to sort of come and be a part of Plaksha. We have over 50 full-time faculty members now, and you can go through the website, read about them. I doubt any university, or very few universities actually in India, offer this quality of faculty members. And I would urge families, when they make a decision on which university, what program to do, is to first look at the list of full-time faculty members who teach and engage. What's the faculty-student ratio like? Because that's what's going to differentiate. Personalized learning is key. And I think very few universities can actually give that kind of mentorship and personalized learning that a new university can sort of offer you in the early years. Right? We have partnerships with global universities. Some of them are mentioned here. We have, and these partnerships mean different things. With some universities, we do, for example, collaborations on summer programs, on curriculum development. There are universities that invite Plaksha students to spend a semester for study abroad in research labs across the world. We have faculty members who come from these places. We have master's progression available with a few universities. So, for instance, with Penn Engineering, we have a 4+1 agreement where you can actually do an MS in AI. If you're one of the recommended students from Plaksha, you have a GPA of 8.5, you sort of have a very high chance of getting in, and you don't have to write the GRE, no application fee, you get up to 30% waivers, depending on how much course credit transfer you can take from Plaksha to Penn. So these are huge, right? And similar partnerships we have with Purdue, Wisconsin-Madison, Johns Hopkins. So really, I think those are good pathway programs. So I think a lot of families now, given the global turmoil in geopolitics, in work-study arrangements, in immigration policies that is changing so quickly, I think a lot of families are considering India to be a strong option. And with new universities like Plaksha, I think you get an opportunity where you're getting that sort of a global experience. Your children still get to do some bit of international experience through these collaborations, but continue to stay in India and build for India and make wealth in India and solve for India. I think that's interesting. We're based in Mohali, 10 minutes away from Chandigarh Airport. So, like I think Gurna was saying about Shiv Nadar, I think whatever 4-5 universities you pick, at least in India, do make a visit. These are not very far away. I think some of them are close. Going to the university sort of is the watershed moment. You get to see the DNA of a place. So I think do visit if you can. We are probably the only university in tech in India that offers undeclared majors, which means if a student is admitted, they can come in to Plaksha for the first 3 semesters, study everything, and then at the end of the 3 semesters, decide what you want to do. So we call it the Freshmo College, where you have 3 core areas that everyone covers. So one is, I think, mathematics, depth of mathematics. Then there's one bucket of courses which are from data analytics and data science, because whether you want to be in biotech or robotics, data is become like the core of all of it. And the third is computing. So those are introduced to everyone. And then you have some courses in leadership, some courses in communication, humanities. So this is, I think, one of the most beautiful things about Plaksha's journey, where these are reimagined foundation programs that are very rarely offered, not just in India but across the world. Very few universities actually offer such a progressive curriculum. There are 4 programs that we offer as majors. There's computer science and AI, which looks at emerging tech. So by the way, Plaksha is an engineering school. I know a lot of you put us in this list of liberal colleges. While we are liberal in the thought, we are technology, right? So we only offer engineering programs. So when you think of Plaksha, you should think of engineering, and all things that come with modern engineering, which is very rigorous curriculum, very math intensive. So all of those are synonyms to being able to study and apply to Plaksha, right? So the 4 programs are CSAI, which looks at emerging tech, computer vision, large language modeling, natural language processing. So basically, how do you build computational interfaces between human machine interactions, AI, machine learning, all of that you sort of cover. We have a program called Biological Systems Engineering that looks at this powerful combination of bio, math, and computing. And we feel a lot of solutions, whether it is in genetics, whether it's in drug development, whether it is in agri-tech, healthcare, point of care, bioinformatics, biomedical engineering, medical robotics. A lot of them are at this intersection of either bio and tech or bio and math, or bio and data science. So they really, I think this is a stellar program that we offer. Again, we don't know of too many universities in the world that offer such a program. We offer a program called Robotics and Autonomous Systems. This is where if students are interested in underwater robotics, aerial robotics, humanoids, medical robotics, space robotics, I mean, you name it, if they're interested in building stuff, this is a great program. It combines mechanical, electrical, computer science, and AI into one program, right? So it's, again, very futuristic. Finally, there's a program called Data Science, Economics, Business. This is not an eco major. We hear that a lot, saying Plaksha's eco program. This is not an eco program, it's a data science program. It makes you a data scientist in companies like Flipkart, JM Financial, when you work in companies in BFSI or in any other industry, like what is now happening is there a lot of roles that were being played by, say, economists and statisticians, is now being done by data science engineers, because the data volumes have grown. It's big data now, millions of records. A lot of AI and machine learning is used to process those data sets, to clean that, label it. So I think Plaksha's program in that way, I mean, we've benchmarked it with a lot of public engineering institutions and some liberal arts colleges in India. But again, we've not found this combination of all of these 3 coming together. So like I said, it's a data science program. There is, of course, courses in economics, business that are offered. But eventually you should look at careers like being product manager, consulting, founder's office role. So a lot of those, or data analytics, a lot of our students actually go into finance, so those are the kind of roles you should look at when you think of this program. We have 4 research centers currently around clean energy, agriculture, health, and water. All of them are active centers. Like I said, our philosophy is to create engineers who solve grand challenges. So we push them to do original thinking, focus on research. We have fantastic labs at Plaksha, a robotics lab, an IoT lab. We have a CRISPR lab. So I think all of these are open for you to look at. We've just placed our first batch of graduates. The average salary for our students, not the top 20%, but the average is 20 lakhs. And we've had a median of over 17 lakhs. So I think that's excellent for the first batch. And students have gone into great roles. I mean, you see these roles generally in a top IIT or a very good tech institution in India, like data scientists, software engineers, AI, ML engineers. So I think just be, when you look at placement data, always be mindful of what are the roles being offered. I mean, if two students are going to Google, I mean, they might have different roles and different pay scales. So I think important for you to look at that when you look at placements. We've had students who've gone into consulting. So companies like BCG recruit at Plaksha. You have companies like Flipkart, companies like D Shaw, Arcesium, which are like marquee companies in finance, also come and recruit at Plaksha. Again, many of these companies just go to maybe the top tier IITs and maybe a BITS and a few other colleges who've started recruiting from Plaksha. So I think that's a very good sign of how our programs are being accepted. We also have students who've done excellent internships in all kinds of companies. Adobe is a fresh company. They've placed a student in the second batch, has gotten placed in Adobe, and I think it's going really well. We also have students who've gone into masters at places like Carnegie Mellon, UPenn, NYU. There's a student who went for a direct PhD to UCSD. And a lot of these students have been offered scholarship programs. So I think that's a testament of the kind of program we offer. I think I'll end with this slide, which is about admissions. We are very selective. Uh, so Plaksha does not believe in a test. We don't want to do a test because we feel that your kids give enough tests already. And I think whatever we need to get out of a test, we already have so many to consider. But we look at your profile very differently. So there are two steps of application. The first step is to apply online. It's a longish form in some way. We look at your grades from the 9th onwards. What we definitely look for is consistent above average performance in mathematics. There is no substitute to that, right? So that has to be there. But along with that, we look at co-curriculars, extracurriculars. There are 2 essays that are part of the application. And we accept students from all boards. Any board can apply. So that's the thing. In terms of competitive exams, they're all optional, but we do accept JEE scores. We accept SAT scores and we accept ACT scores. Each of them are given a different level of weightage. So for instance, a JEE math will not compare at all to an SAT math. But we do accept all because we know everybody doesn't give the JEE or not everybody gives the SAT. People can also apply just on the basis of boards. So that's the first step. The second step is to give 2 interviews. One is a tech interview, which is basically math and physics, conceptual questions with faculty. That's about 30 to 40 minutes. And then you have a personal interview, which is about awareness, about grit and growth mindset, resilience. All of that is what we test through the second interview. So we go through a lot of, we invest a lot of resources in selecting our students. But that is because we want a certain quality of student to come into Plaksha. So that's really our application process. Eligibility for us is only mathematics. So we only need math for you to apply. Physics is highly...
Physics for the other BTech courses, is it?
For all programs, math is the only subject that we need. Physics is highly recommended for all our programs. We now have started to allow for students to come with a physics, chemistry, biology background without math. We're trying to, because a large section of India which looks at bio-related programs would take that combination. So we're trying to experiment. So students even with a PCB can apply. But like I said, these are gates that we are opening for any student to apply, but we are obviously very selective in who we would admit into the class. So, think of this, right? Our admission philosophy is we want hunger in a student to learn. I think that's absolutely important. We want academic depth. There is no compromise. So I think when you look at, say, US and a lot of liberal colleges, sometimes if you have great profiles, you can sail through, even with, say, an average academic performance. And there are countries like, say, UK and Singapore, which are like, okay, all that is great, but where are your marks? So I think Plaksha somewhere in between. We don't compromise on academic ability, but we value highly, leadership and community service and internships, and all of that matters, but we will not let go of academic ability. So I think that's where we stand, and we offer also scholarships. And if there are questions, I'm happy to answer around that.
Right. So this is admission season, Vikram, and so obviously a lot of the questions are around admissions. So and I'm sure many of these are in everyone's mind. So if you could give us some sort of range of accepted students, grade range for IB as well as for the national curricula, CBSE, ICSE, as well as for Cambridge boards. I think those are the three boards people are asking for. And we know that this is not sort of like an admission policy, but just through past data, what's the kind of scores that people have when they get admitted?
So, like I said, so for us, 10th and 12th both matter strongly, right? So even if a student hasn't done well in class 10, that is sort of a red flag already for us, right? So ideally, for applying from CBSE or ISC board, you should have a minimum of 85 to even think of us in math and in overall scores, right? So that's the bare minimum. We don't have a cutoff, but like I said, I mean, below that, you seriously have to have something outstanding for your application to get picked up. Our averages are somewhere, I think our national average is around 95%, if I'm not wrong. For someone to feel safe, I think you should have a 90 in math and overall in national boards. If you're looking at IB, we would definitely recommend a 6 in math as a minimum score. If not ideally it should be a 7, but a minimum of 6, and a minimum of 6 in all other courses. Maybe a 5 in maybe one of the subjects, but not less than that. I mean, we look at even when we give like conditional offers, many times the condition is 6 in math and 6 overall, right? Or 36 on 42 without your core. So we do look at a strong profile that way in academics. In Cambridge, I mean, again, somebody should definitely think of an A star in math and A's in all other subjects. So you should be in the top 10-15% of your class when you're thinking of Plaksha.
Right. So what about SAT? Like, if you're considering the SAT, is there a SAT range that Plaksha students typically have?
So I think generally we don't so we only look at the math component, by the way, in SAT. We don't look at the overall scores. So in math, one would definitely expect, a minimum of 750. Our average is around 775, 780. But I would say a minimum of 750 is what you should aim for.
Right. Okay. So I think one of the questions over here is about what is the focus on chemistry and physics? Are marks for these subjects looked at? So while you said that maths is the only requirement and physics is needed, but if someone has physics, chemistry, maths, these would be the 3 marks you would consider most?
Yes. So physics is actually, so let me rephrase myself. So physics is a highly recommended program, right? So we do look at physics scores when you are applying for certain kind of programs, but definitely I think we look at the top 4. So when we look at scores, we look at top 4, right? And we generally exclude either this what physical education and all those are not considered, but sciences courses like physics, chemistry, math, biology, economics, these are courses that are looked at if a student has them.
Right. So someone's asking about if applications are open early. So I have shared over here the undergraduate application timeline. So I believe your first round is in December 20th is the deadline, right?
No. So yes, December 20th is the deadline. We open on the 10th of November.
You open on the 10th of November. Okay. So I don't know if you covered scholarships. There's a question about if there are scholarships and what's the criteria and basis of these scholarships.
Yes, so I think there was a question around fee. Oh, sorry, Richa, this is an old timeline. So sorry, don't.
Okay,
That's
all right.
sorry. It's for last year, but we'll put out our timelines on the website very soon. So the fee, there was a question on the fee. The fee is around 8.4 lakhs is tuition, and I think 2.5, 2.6 is living. Again, that fee is also going to be updated by 10th. So that's roughly around 10 to 11 lakhs is what you should expect for a full paying student, right? But like I said, we have two kinds of scholarships available. There is merit scholarship, which is for the highly selective students in the class, because our averages are very high, right? Our admission process itself is looking at a certain kind of a student. So if you are wanting to be eligible for a merit scholarship, you should have you should have done very well in academics and otherwise also in our application process. So merit scholarships you don't have to apply for; you're automatically awarded them. Uh, Need-based are for families with a certain income less than, for example, income of less than 50 lakhs a year. You're considered for financial aid, and the lower the income is, the higher the aid. So almost, I would say, for instance, if your family income is, say, less than 15 lakhs a year, you don't have to, there's 100% tuition waiver, so those kinds of policies are available. Plaksha is very inclusive. We have almost, I think that's one of the things we are different from a lot of the new age universities, because generally when you have fees like the ones that we have, you either have a full paying student or a full scholar student from foundation schools. I think Plaksha has a middle class. So I think we have a lot of first generation college goers because it's engineering, right? It's a very aspirational degree in India. So we have students who come with 25%, 50%, 75% merit scholarships. We have kids who take loans. So I think don't worry about fee. I would worry first about getting in, and then we'll of course find ways for you to finance your program. We are also thinking of interest-free loans and stuff like that. So I think there are lots of avenues available.
That's extremely inclusive and very encouraging for the students, Vikram. Vikram, there's a question from somebody who's from Chennai. They're saying at Plaksha, what is the percentage of students from different parts of India? Are they mainly from North India? I'm asking because I'm from Chennai and wonder about student life mix and language comfort.
Yeah. No, so we have, it's changing very fast. I mean, when we started, obviously, we had a lot more students coming from North India. I think even in the first batch, we had not more than 50%, but that was a high number, right? So over the years, now that's changing. Currently, about 45% of our students come from North India. Last batch, for example, that came in, 25% students from South India. So a large number of students, actually, 10% of our batch was Telugu speaking. I mean, can you imagine, from Andhra and Telangana? Uh, a large number from Bangalore.
Diversity. Right, right.
Absolutely, and West India and all over the country. So I wouldn't worry too much about. We have very good cultural diversity and geospatial diversity and gender diversity and all of that.
Right. So there's a question about batch size and number of students you take in every year.
Yes, so we've been organically growing. Last batch was around 230. This year we are aiming to get about 300, 325 across all four programs.
Right. So this is a question about extracurriculars, that if a student has great academics but no profile like extracurriculars, do you all select? And before you answer that, Vikram, I just want to say that every student does have a profile. Sometimes students are not aware. Even the school projects that you're doing, that's part of your profile. But all yours, Vikram.
No, I think it's a good question, right? Because, like I said, unlike other liberal colleges, because we offer engineering, we get a very diverse pool of applications, right? We have this kid who's applying to us, who's just done JE, right? And has got a 98, 99 percentile, and very little time in anything else in 11th and 12th. Because we get this diversity, we understand, and we're not building like a Chess set, right? We don't want every pawn to be the same. It's a cohort. So I think every student is different. We get students who've done IB programs, who've done CAS and extended essay and, TOK and 100 other things. And we get this kid from, say, Jawaharlal Navodaya Vidyalaya who's just focused on boards. So for us, look at each application as an individual application. So as long as we feel that you think you have the academic depth, you can solve problems, you are aware of society, I think that should be enough. And nothing is like mandatory. We have students, who might not have as strong extracurriculars as some other students, so it's fine. I mean, I would say apply and we look at your application.
Right. So the last question, Vikram. Now I know it's been a very long day for you too, and thank you patiently for listening to all the audience. This question is about when to apply. That my daughter is completing A levels in March 27.
Okay.
2027. If it's 2027, what is the best time to apply? I guess uh, all yours, Vikram.
Yeah, I think we start our application around October, November, and we go on almost till May. A levels, I mean, if you are applying in March, you get your results by June, right? May, June, or say by end of June. So you can apply with predicteds even earlier. I mean, there is no right time to apply. I would say whenever you feel the most comfortable and ready, when your sort of, for example, your essays are ready, your predicteds are ready, all of it is in place, then I think you should apply then rather than, there's no like one right round for one board.
Right. So you can apply with predicted grades and don't have to wait for the final A levels.
Absolutely.
There's a JEE, there are a couple of JEE questions that, what's a JEE score that's accepted? Will the JEE April attempt work?
Yes. So JEE is a very strong test that we consider. So JEE, I mean, ideally you should have a 90 percentile in math and 90 overall to think of us. But our average is again somewhere around 94, 95 percentile. Last batch, for instance, we are almost, I think, maybe 30, 40 students who had a 96, 97 and above. So I think we get good kids, right?
Clearly.
Yeah.
Right. So Vikram, now this is really the last question. And it's one that I haven't heard you answer before. I don't know if we'll get a clear answer, but I'm very curious to know also, how many students apply for Plaksha? So they're saying the intake is around 300. So how many apply? Can we get a sense of the competitiveness?
So yeah, absolutely. I mean, last year we admitted 230 students in the batch, and we had slightly over 3,000 applications. So you can expect application to enrollment ratio of less than 1:10, but our acceptance is around 15%. So 3 out of every 20 students who apply make it. So it is competitive, but I mean, it's competitive for the right students.
Absolutely, Vikram. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody for being here. And particularly thank you, Vikram. I know you've had a really long and hectic day. Thank you for making the time and for changing your schedule and making sure that you are here. Really appreciate all your inputs and all the responses. And thank you, everybody, for being here. I hope you got a lot of answers. And where you didn't, we'll try and get answers to you as soon as we can. Do
Thank you.
be in touch with us. And Vikram, thank you and all the best for a great admission season at Plaksha. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.